Okay, I hope you can see the slides. And first of all, I would like to welcome all of you to this training session. Thank you to MMNOG, MMIX team to invite us for this training. This is going to be a tutorial for network management and monitoring. And then later after the lunch, we'll have another tutorial as well on network automation. This is a tutorial that's going to be covered by Fio. Fio is your known face here in Myanmar. She's from Myanmar, and she's going to cover her presentation when it comes in the local Burmese language. But unfortunately, I don't have knowledge about Burmese language, so I need to continue it in English. I'll be very slow, and I'll try to stop myself when you have a question, or if you don't understand something, please let us know so you can translate those difficult part in the local language. So this is a kind of a rough idea about how the breaks and the sessions are gonna be. And as you can see, we probably, that's what I made the mistake, like the second session. So first session is from now to about 10:30, and there will be a 15-minute break, and then there will be the second session will start actually at 10:45, and then it will go, I think, up to 11:30 or some time around that schedule. First session, very briefly, will cover network management and monitoring introduction, and that will just give you an overview of what the network management and monitoring looks like. Then Theo is going to deliver SNMP intro slides. Those slides will cover the SNMP in detail, and then we'll have a lab. And I'll show you how you can access the lab very soon after this slide. So every materials, every presentation slides and the lab information and also additional resources, these will be available here in this link. But I understand you cannot type this whole link. So let me share my browser to show you how you can go there. So first, let's try to, Phil, can you confirm if you can see my Academy page?
Yes, I can see your heading page.
Okay,
yes.
So everybody, maybe Phil, you can explain them to go to academy.apnic.net, like academy.apnic.net.
တကယ်လို့ course material link ကိုသွားခြင်းနေဆိုရင် website ရဲ့ URL မှာ academy.apnic.net ကိုရွေးထားမယ် academy.apnic.net မှာ account မဆောက်ရသေးတဲ့သူရှိရင်အဲ့ဒီ account သွားဆောက်မယ် register လုပ်ထားမယ် account register လုပ်ထားပြီးရင်အဲ့ဒီမှာ event ဆိုတဲ့နေရာမှာရှိတယ် event ဆိုတဲ့နေရာမှာကျမတို့ရဲ့ MMNOG network management tutorial ဆိုတဲ့ link
အဲ့လိုဖြည်းဖြည်းခဏခုနမီးပြတ်သွားလို့သူတို့လွတ်သွားတယ်နည်းနည်းလေးရှေ့ကိုပြန်ပြီးတစ်ချက်ပြန်ပြောလိုက်ပါ
well just now have the electricity outage and then they could not hear you can you revise again the conversation before that you said
okay yeah so for the training materials like any presentations or the lab or any other information like additional resources and the survey link, all of these are available in our Academy page, and it's free to use. That means if you turn on your laptop now and please go to academy.apnic.net, please browse this website and you will find this page that I am now showing on the screen. So participants in the room, can you please open your laptop and go to academy.apnic.net. Can you browse this website, please?
အမကြားလားမသိဘူးเนาะအဝါအတန်ကိုလေ
ကြားရတယ်သမီးဆက်လိုက်
Okay so I need to continue right
No need let them first turn on their laptop and try to browse this website.
Okay
And you can say this in local language, like please open your laptop and then
laptop ဖွင့်လိုက်ပြီးအခါကျတော့ web page ကို academy.apnic.net ကို browse တစ်ချက်လုပ်လိုက်မယ်ပြီးတဲ့အခါကျတော့အဲ့မှာ account မဆောက်ရသေးတဲ့သူရှင် academy.apnic.net မှာ account ဆောက်မယ်ပြီးတဲ့အခါကျတော့ network management tutorial ဆိုတဲ့ link ကိုနှိပ်လိုက်မယ်အဲ့မှာ course material တွေအကုန်လုံးကို download ချထားပေးပါနော်
yeah
internet မရဘူးလား internet MMNOG 2024 password ကလည်းအဲ့ဒါပဲဒါပေမဲ့စလုံးသေးနဲ့နော် Wi-Fi က MMNOG 2024 password က MMNOG 2024ပဲဟုတ်တယ်နော်အဲ့ပေါ်ကစာသားအတိုင်းပဲနာမည်စလုံးသေး
So while everybody is connecting to the website, let me continue with this presentation.
They are trying to connect.
Yeah, it's okay. They can try to connect, and by this time I'm gonna cover some of the slides. These are like not really important, but just for information. So I hope you can see that this is the Academy page that I showed you. So when you are connected, try to browse academy.apnic.net, and then you will see we have online courses, we have webinars or virtual labs, all these things. We'll use some of them today. So you will see that with your account, and if you do not have an Academy account, today you will create one, and that's free. That's free to create. And I'll show you how you can create that. Maybe after this slide, I think few can explain how to create the Academy account free, and once we finish it. So here is an EduRoam facilities that we provide in APNIC. And if you know about EduRoam is like a global Wi-Fi where with your Academy username and password, you can actually use them if there is any EduRoam providers. APNIC policy development process, or PDP, is actually kind of a conversation happens in mailing list and also in the APNIC conferences where APNIC's policies has been discussed as a proposal, and then people vote. The participants vote whether there's going to be a policy or not, and things like that. If you're interested, just search in Google APNIC policy development and you will find more information. This is an announcement about our upcoming conference, APNIC 58. It is going to be held in Wellington in New Zealand in September. I mean, end of August and beginning of September. So just keep an eye. There are fellowship already opened. So if you are interested, just submit fellowship information. Maybe few you can say very quickly in local language to apply for fellowship.
APNIC fellowship ကအခုဘယ်မှာလဲ New Zealand မှာ 58 မှာ 30 August နဲ့ September 6 အမှ fellowship လျှောက်လို့ရတယ်ပေါ့နော် fellowship လျှောက်တယ်ဆိုရင်အမှအများသောအားဖြင့်လူငယ်တွေလျှောက်ချင်တယ်ဆိုရင်ကိုလျှောက်လို့ရတယ်အများကြီးတွေ့ကြုံရတယ်အဲ့မှာဒီ APNIC presentation တွေ training တွေမှာ fellowship ကော conference ကော workshop ကောမှာလျှောက်ချင်တယ်ဆိုရင်မှာ fellowship ကိုလျှောက်လို့ရတယ်အဲ့ဒါ ဒီတစ်နှစ်ကိုဘယ်မှာလုပ်မှာလဲဆို New Zealand Wellington မြို့မှာလုပ်မှာအဲ့ခါကျတော့အကုန်လုံးလာခဲ့ဖို့အတွက်ကိုဖိတ်ခေါ်ပါတယ်တဲ့
Thank you
အဲ့တော့
Phil
အခု opening ဖြစ်နေတဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်မလို့ရှောက်ချင်စောစောစီးစီးရှောက်ထားလိုက်ကြအဲ့ဒါ New Zealand ကိုသွားရမယ် New Zealand ဆိုတော့လည်းအရန်လှတယ်
Thank you Phil and there is this ESIF grants and this is a very big amount that ESIF or Internet Society Innovation Fund provides and you can see the numbers like 30,000 US dollars, 85,000 US dollars, and depending on the size of the project, and these projects has to be around this inclusion or infrastructure. So, for example, IPv6 deployment grants, you can apply for that, and if this project is interesting and is possible to implement and can help build the internet for the networks who needs IPv6 deployment supports, you can submit your project, and if it is selected, you can get the grant to accomplish those targets. Orbit is our mailing list portal, so just take a look at orbit.apnic.net if you want to stay connected and want to subscribe to the mailing list. So this is a disclaimer about our online meetings and virtual meetings, not to be recorded without our permission. So if anybody records it, please take permission prior to recording. Stay in touch with our social media pages for our upcoming news, events, and other notifications. And that's it about the first intro slide, but let's go and first create our, I hope everybody is connected now. So let's see, go to this academy.apnic.net that I mentioned, and then on the front page, sorry, on the front page, you'll see that MMNOG 6 network management and monitoring tutorial has been listed as an upcoming or in progress event. So this event, if you click on that, then you will go to the events page where you have more information. But for now, you don't need to look into any other information, but just click on this course materials on the right side. I hope you can see these course materials. Click there. For the benefit of viewing, click on this blue arrow icon so you can expand the whole page. So this is going to be look like this. And no need to worry about this session timing or trainer's name or anything. Just focus on this day one schedule. So we have 2 sessions. Session 1 is about intro to NMM and SNMP fundamentals, and session 2 will be a lab, okay? I hope you can see that, and all these presentations are downloadable, so you can download those PDFs. But I want all of you to go and click login. If you click login, you will see that there is a login page, but if you have a account, APNIC Academy account before, you can use that. If you do not have, just click on the register at the bottom, and it will take less than 1 minute to create because we don't have a lot of questions. There are only 4 questions. So if you click register, you see only 4 questions. These are mandatory. Your email, your password, not the email's password, but your account that you are going to create. Just select any password you like, and then your name. No need to, it's not mandatory. These later questions, these are not mandatory. So if you want to fill that, fill, and then click register. And that means you have your username as the email and password that you selected. You can use these 2 information to log in to my APNIC portal, okay? So Fio, can you summarize very quickly, and then maybe we need to take help from Ms. Kine and the team, whether there is anybody facing any problem creating their account.
Okay. အခုဘာတယောက်ချင်းစီကနေ MMIX Academy account မှာ user account create လုပ်ပြီးမှ register လုပ်ရမယ်ပေါ့နော် register လုပ်တဲ့အချိန်မှာ register ဆိုတော့နှိပ်ပြီးတဲ့အခါကျတော့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ email address ထည့်မယ် password ထည့်မယ်နာမည်အပြည့်ထည့်မယ်ပြီးတဲ့အခါကျတော့ဒီထက်မှတောင်းတဲ့ဟာဖြစ်ပြီးမှ create ကို register ဆိုပြီးတော့မှ account create လုပ်မယ်အဲ့ဒါလေးကိုတယောက်ချင်းစီကို create လုပ်စေချင်တယ်ပြီးတဲ့အခါကျတော့မှ course material တွေကိုအဲ့ဒီကနေမှ download ချမယ်နောက်ပိုင်းကျရင်ဒီ account နဲ့ဝင်ပြီးတော့မှ MMIX မှာရှိတဲ့တခြား open tutorial တွေ academy တွေ virtual lab အဓိကအပြင် lab လုပ်တဲ့အချိန်မှာလည်းကျမတို့ဒီ academy website ကိုသုံးလို့ရတယ်ဒီ lab ကကျတော့အခုချိန်နဲ့လုပ်လို့ရအောင်နောက်ပိုင်းကျရင် save လုပ်ထားပြီးတော့မှအိမ်ပြန်ရောက်တဲ့အချိန်ကျလည်းအဲ့ virtual lab ကိုပြန်လုပ်လို့ရတယ်အဲ့ခါကျတော့ academy account ရှိမှလုပ်လို့ရမှာမလို့ဒီ account လေး create လုပ်ထားစေချင်တယ်အဲ့တော့ account လေးတွေတစ်ချက်လောက် create လုပ်ပေးကြပါအောင်နော်
Thank you, Phil. So once you have your account, just log in and again, go to the same page that I mentioned, the page. So we'll start with the intro to NMM. And by this time, if you can get your account done, then please make sure you can log in because we'll need that. So, okay, let me start the NMM presentation.
Ama တယောက်ချင်းတစ်ခု create လုပ်လို့အဆင်မပြေဘူးဆိုရင်ပြောလိုက်အခုသူတို့စပြီးတော့မှ account create လုပ်စေချင်တယ် so we will let them create the account first right
Yes, I think they can create and by that time I can start the NMM intro because this is not really very important part but they can just focus on and it doesn't take more than 1 minute like 4 questions right
okay.
Yeah and they can download the first presentation. So
ပထမဦးဆုံး presentation လေးကို download လုပ်ထားပေးပါတယ် introduction to NMM ရဲ့
yeah this one introduction to NMM that's right. So if you
စင်ပြေတဲ့လူကြီးကပြောနော် account create လုပ်တာရလား
yeah okay so let me share the slide again and that's about the NMM. Okay, so this slide will cover some basic of network monitoring, some basics of network monitoring and management and how we can do that. So why actually you need to monitor network? Monitoring network is not mandatory, of course, because if I run my network and it works fine, I don't have any problem. I can just run this network. And that was at the beginning of the internet when there were not many companies in the internet. There were not many users of the internet. There were only small number of routers in a company, like 1 router, 1 switch, and a couple of users. That was the very simple network at the beginning of the internet. So if there is a problem, people can just focus on 1 device, very easy because they have only 2 devices, something like that. But now, over the years, internet has become very popular and many new companies and existing companies, they are now growing very, very big. Some companies, you'll see that they have connectivity across the continent. So not necessarily in one place, they are covering the whole world, like the big giant companies. So if you think about their number of routers or their number of users, number of switches, this is so big in numbers that it's quite difficult for a human being to identify what are the problems and where is the problem and what is the CPU utilization of one certain router, something like this. It's very difficult, right? So with the wireless connectivities like APs and controllers, with the cloud, with remote users and all the other facilities, including the mobile and IoT devices, this has become very, very difficult to manage without a system. So that's why network monitoring is a very important part now for the network operators. So doesn't matter which type of network you run, doesn't matter what complicated setup you have. The common thing for every network operators in modern internet is to monitor their network. Doesn't matter how many devices they have, even if it is a simple device, even if it is like a complex setup, everybody wants to get a visualization of what's happening in their network. So what are the critical resources that you want to monitor? You want to monitor your routers, switches, these network elements, servers. You might have many other different types of devices. Even people want to monitor their printers. People want to monitor their air conditioning system, their battery systems, and so on. So anything that is critical, you want to monitor them. How you want to monitor? You want to use protocols or some methods to connect to that device and get some information. So some example could be SNMP, Simple Network Management Protocol, or ICMP, Internet Controlled Messaging Protocol, or gRPC, or Remote Procedure Calls, NetFlow. These are some of the protocols, but there are many others. These protocols helps your monitoring system to talk to the target device and get those information that you want to see or that you want to get notified. The tools, for example, if I run a Libra NMS, this is a monitoring system or software, that's the tool. It will use the protocol to talk to the routers on these devices. So this is the relationship, right? So monitoring means you want to constantly check what's happening in your device. You want to save those statistics. So historical data you want to store so that in future, if something happens, you can compare with the previous data, right? For example, if suddenly something happens in the if, for example, if there is a huge event organized in Myanmar, that means many people is going to use social media, going to follow the news about that event. So the internet usage may increase. So if you as an ISP, you see that suddenly your internet traffic increased a lot, you can compare last 7 days. What was the normal behavior in that particular time, 1 week ago or 1 day ago? If you see your graphs, you'll see that the traffic drops gradually from midnight till very early morning. You'll see traffic just drop and very low usage, very low volume of data is used. But that's not a network outage, right? Because every day it happens. So that's not an outage. But if you're peak hour, like during the day, if something happens like gradual drop of traffic, that's a problem. So the same thing, but in 2 different times, 2 different meanings. So with the statistics and the performance metrics, you can understand whether there is a problem in my network or not. And you can also check errors based on the logs and notifications and alerts coming from the devices. So it's not really very easy for you to log into every single device and check their health. Instead, it would be nice if you have one dashboard where everybody tells their health, that tells the numbers or information about the device's health. Then you don't need to use your computer to log in and constantly monitor that, and that's not possible as well. So what should you monitor? People tend to monitor the throughput, like the usage, the bandwidth utilization, or maybe the CPU utilization and things like that. You may also look latency. slowness or packet loss. How you can do that? You can utilize tools like ping, like the SNMP, like API to talk to the device, and where you want to store those information. You might need to store those information in the cloud or on your own premises in your data center. You might need to use the round robin database or time series database to store the data. And how do you know that this is abnormal? You need to define a threshold. So that's called a metrics or performance metrics. And then once something happens or once a violation happens, you should be notified by the system. And that there could be email, there could be SMS, or there could be a website where you can see the alerts and things like that. So that's the monitoring part. Now, how about management? So monitoring means you just get information, you look at the health, but managing means making sure that I can change configuration, or I can upgrade my system, or I can track my current resources, and I can also predict my future requirement to scale my network. So these are all part of management, right? So you are not only looking at the information, you also want to take some actions. That is the management, right? So the management involves administration. That means maintaining the inventories, making sure that every devices are running okay, or they have enough facilities provided to run those devices, and you have the information about the software versions, their end of life, whether they need an update or not. All these are like compliance and inventory, right? And then operation is also part of management. So you need to configure the device, you need to make sure it works, you need to provide connectivity to your customers and things like that. The maintenance is, once you have your network running, you need to look at if there is any fault, if there is any troubleshooting needed, if you need to upgrade the operating system or the software and things like that. Provisioning means making sure that there is a room for making your network bigger, or extend your network, or replace the devices to make sure that this is compatible with the current network. So these are the provisioning. Provisioning can be for future, to extend the network to a different country or to a different location, things like that. So now every network is different. That means that there is not a single tool that can serve every company. So you need to find out what is best for you. So first, let's focus on some questions like why, how, and what to monitor. And then we'll also look into why, what, and how to manage. So first, the monitoring part. And of course, we want to know about our resource utilization of the devices, and that can be done with monitoring. But also a very good thing is that based on the behavior, we can find a baseline of what is okay and what is not, what is normal and what is not, right? And then we also can understand the performance or the capacity of my devices. What is the current utilization and up to which number this device can take the load. So we understand with this from the monitoring. If there is a problem happens, we can find the root cause based on the logs. So this is also part of the monitoring. And of course, the configuration changes or security threats, things like that, nowadays are becoming more important. So what to monitor? We need to monitor our important hardware, software, and services. So hardware can be your router switches, maybe your gateway router, of course, maybe your core switch. Actually, we recommend you to monitor everything. But If you feel like I don't have those resources required, but at least I want to monitor the critical resources. So find out what are the critical resources you have. It could be, like I said, it could be your border router. You want to monitor your upstream connectivity. What is the bandwidth? Because you are paying money for this upstream connectivity, right? And you don't want to lose the service. So this might be important. DNS, DHCP. For example, if you don't monitor your DHCP, and if there is a problem in the DHCP server, many of your customers and users are going to complain. And if you have a monitoring system, you will, before their complaints are coming, you can get the alert from the system even before the customers or users, right? So you know that DHCP is very critical. If DHCP is down, customers or users are not going to get the service. Same goes for radius servers. Maybe your SMTP or mail servers, right? So these are very important. You can also monitor your routing infrastructure. For example, your OSPF or BGP, or if you're running complex MPLS network, it could be your SD-WAN or OMP. So these are some of the protocols that you can also monitor. So basically, as you can see at the bottom of this slide, basically we want to check whether my device is up or not. That's availability. We want to see whether some of the destinations are having any packet loss or very high latency. That means something happened in my upstream network or their upstream network, something like this. So you want to check their reliability or reachability, and then you want to understand your capacity. So let's say traffic and port utilization, bandwidth utilization, things like that. Also, the device performance, like their CPU utilization or RAM or memory and hard disk and processes, things like that. So how to monitor? So there are several protocols, like I said, ICMP, SNMP, and several others, but we will talk more about SNMP because this is a short tutorial, and SNMP is very important. So we'll cover SNMP. So what happens is, as you can see in this diagram, let's say on the left side, you can see the source. Source can be my router. Source is the device that I want to monitor, okay? That's my target. So let's say my servers, my routers, my switches, they all has a connection with the monitoring system that's called NMS. The NMS talks to the target devices through some protocols. And that can be SNMP protocols or metric polling or traps. And we'll talk more about those terms in later slides. So NMS collects the information from the target devices that you want to monitor. And then NMS provides those information to a nice dashboard. So as a system admin or network admin, you can easily get this information in like a very good graphical dashboard. So NMS is the server. The target devices are going to talk to the server all the time. And if anything happens, the NMS is going to alert you through some email or SMS or some alert on the dashboard. So you can get a nice view of the whole network that you are running. Network management, why we want to do that? Because we want to understand what needs to be done for my network to perform better. That's the summary, right? So if I have a management tool, I don't need a network engineer to every single time to log in and configure something and test whether it's working or not. If you have a management tool, like a dashboard again, and you, for example, you want to take a backup of the configuration, or you want to apply some new config, something like this, it can be done. And it increases the productivity of your team or of the IT services that you are providing. In the management tools, you also find information related to if any security hole, like for example, if there is a breach, or a CVE published in the global portals that there is a vulnerability in the system, you get those information in the dashboard that this device is running a vulnerable version of the operating system. Do you want to upgrade? And you click the upgrade and it's going to be upgraded, or there is a patch you want to do because there is a warning, right? So these are possible in the management tools. And of course, you can get the opportunity to upgrade if there is a new version because of the compliance. So I think you have heard about ISO compliance, the ISO certification. So when you see the network is ISO certified, that means they have to comply with the latest version of operating systems running in the system and things like that. So this is also possible. So what do you want to manage? Of course, your network elements, routers, switches, servers, power systems. If you have like generators, if you have batteries and UPS or IPS, you also may need to check those. If you are giving services to the customers, and remember there are many companies who use PPPoE authentication. That means the customer premises has a router to dial and get authenticated. So these are CPEs. Many companies provide those CPEs by themselves, or the ONU optical network terminal or optical network unit. These are also some of the elements that you have to provide to the customer end, but you want to monitor them whether there is a problem in the network in their side or not, right? Your storage, for example, the servers have a storage, whether the storage are full or not, things like that. So how to manage? There are several protocols. There are modern protocols, there are legacy protocols, there are obsolete protocols. But mostly you will see that management happens, monitoring happens mostly over SNMP, but there are new protocols. Management really not happened over SNMP, mostly happened on some proprietary protocols, and there is the open source modern netconf, restconf, or openconfig. These are the modern way of managing the networks. So SNMP, there is standards and relevant information, netconf, as you can see, but SOAP or simple object, what protocol? Simple object authentication protocol or something like this. So SOAP is like not really a very good standard protocol because they don't have any data model. As you can see that the other protocols have data models, but SOAP doesn't have any data model. So you have proprietary protocol kind of thing here, because without a model, the vendors cannot comply how they are going to behave and things like that. So it's not very popular, it's almost obsolete. What are the best practices for monitoring and management? First of all, if you can understand what is the normal behavior in your network, you can provide a baseline, or you can create a baseline for your network. And then you can also create an escalation matrix. If you get an alert, who is going to attend first? Who is going to get the notification first? If the first layer of engineers cannot deal with it because it needs escalated privileges or higher approvals, who is going to be notified then, and after how many hours? So these are some of the escalation metrics you can prepare to minimize the number of troubleshooting hours, minimize the customer impact, things like that. Your monitoring system should show you the problem layers. So each and every layer should have some information with which you understand, okay, this is not the problem. The problem is in a different layer and things like that. And also you should have the high availability and failover options, just in case if one system goes down, you can immediately fail over to the active device that's currently running. And in future, depending on your current growth, how you can expand in future. This out-of-band management is very important as well. most of the time, if you manage your network with your current services running in the network, that means if the network is congested, you cannot log into your router anymore because your management traffic is going to be blocked as well, right? If your device is if your connectivity is lost, you cannot log into your device again. So these are some of the problems with the in-band management. So most of the network operators, they what they do is they have a separate network for management. So just in case if the traffic is congested with the production network, the management traffic doesn't follow the production network. Actually, it has a separate dedicated network to connect. And if it is a remote site, many companies, they put like a smaller device there to connect it through, let's say 5G or 4G connectivity. So that's not their own network, it's a separate connectivity. Even if their network is down, they can still log into the device, right? And they can see the logs, they can troubleshoot remotely, things like that. What are the techniques and tools for monitoring and management? There are agent-based and agent-less monitoring tools. So agent-based, as you can see the name, that means every device will have a small process running in the device. So that's an agent. The agent will talk to the master or to talk to the primary server. That means the agent is like an insider. Insider will gather information because insider knows what's going on inside. Then it will pass this information to the monitoring system or the server. So if you have 5 routers, 5 agents running in each of the routers, they're gonna get all the information to the server, and server can give you the summary, right? Like this 5 agents giving me this information. Agentless means there is no program running in the routers or in those devices. The server is going to talk to them with protocols like Python, SSH, and with applications like Python, things like that. But the dependencies are that every device needs to understand the language, okay? Because they don't have an agent inside, so the server needs to talk to the device itself. That means the device needs to respond or understand the language, right? So that's not every router can do that. The problem with agent-based is that not every vendor may not have the agent, right? So, but you will see that most of the popular solutions, they will have their agents and also agent. If they are agentless, they will use a protocol that is supported by everybody. Internal and external monitoring means if I want to monitor my internally within my network, my NMS is running within the network, and if something happens to the system, I lose the monitoring, right? I don't have any connectivity with the monitoring system. I lose the network means I lose the connectivity with the NMS. Then my monitoring system can live in the cloud. That's an external monitoring. That means even if I lose my connectivity to one of my routers, but my monitoring system, I can log into the monitoring system because it's not in my network, it's outside the network, right? And centralized versus decentralized. So if I monitor from one single point, that's a centralized solution. And for the big companies, it's difficult to monitor from centralized point because if something happens to the central monitoring system, they lose all monitoring. But instead, let's say if they have multiple regions, they maintain like maybe one system for each region. If something happens to one region, they just lose connectivity to one region, lose monitoring of one region. Rest of the monitoring are perfectly fine, things like that. But depending on your need, you may need to choose whether you want to go for centralized or decentralized. There are software as a service-based cloud solutions. So you will see there are providers who provide cloud-based monitoring tools. What they do is they will install agent in your network, but the monitoring servers or the NMS system will be in the cloud, and you will have an account. So you will log into that account, you will see your devices there, because the agent will make sure that your devices are added, and then you get alert and things like that. So if you do not have a team or engineers to maintain your monitoring system, you can buy subscriptions from them. So all the techniques and tools they will have there, and they have their dedicated team to improve it, right? So it's also possible for some companies to buy those subscriptions. This is a kind of an open source list of tools. There are many others. This is just a very small amount of the amount of tools that we have listed. So if you see at the top couple of tools like Isinga, Nagios, LibreNMS, these are actually will show you that your devices availability, uptime, performance, and bandwidth utilization, things like that. If you see the NFSEN, NFDump, or ASSTARS, these are going to be like flow and traffic analysis. Rancid, Oxidizer for backup and restoration. Ticketing system is RT and OS ticket. NetDisco and NEPAP or IPAM, PHP IPAM, Netbox. These are all for IP address management. You'll see syslog, Graylog. These are for log storing, neutralization, and visualization tools. And documentation, we have listed NetDot, but there are many others. So all of them are free of cost, open source tools. If you have interests, you can just take a look at some of the tools, and there is no single solution for every system. It's better for the network system engineers to try with the open source tools and see which one best serve your purpose, because purpose is different for different companies, right? So just try some of the tools and see if this works best for you. For management and monitoring, as you can see, there are some legacy way. Legacy is mostly based on SNMP, but the modern way for monitoring is, you will see API. API is kind of, if you have an API for a device, that means it's going to open a door for you to authenticate and then get some information. It's like that in simple words. So application programming interface or a webhook means in a website, you can see the information coming from those devices through API. Model-driven telemetry is mostly around the, you'll see the modern monitoring and management based on the remote procedure calls. There are time series database. I'm sure you have heard about the TIG or Telegraph Influx, DB, Grafana, or there will be, I think for log, you will see like Kibana dashboard for log. Elkstack, maybe you have heard about it, the Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. So these are like all modern monitoring tools. They don't rely on SNMP. For the management or configuration, you see netconf, restconf, openconfig. These are the modern way. So many of the vendors already have these features, like Cisco, Juniper, or many other, several other vendors. They all have this, and there are modern tools and technologies around this configuration management as well. So that's basically it. If you have any question, maybe please ask. We'll try to answer that.
မေးခွန်းရှိတယ်ဆိုရင်မေးလို့ရတယ်နော်မြန်မာလိုလည်းမေးလို့ရတယ်
Okay, so if not, please feel free to ask questions in email as well if you have questions, okay? Because in the academy page, we have our email addresses there. Just send us email if you have questions. I'll hand over to Phil to run the next presentation. Phil, if you are ready, I'll stop sharing.
Okay,
And,
I will continue it.
Okay, great.
Hello,
Thank
mail
you.
là share so yin English lo awa o dai mail le yare ha Myanmar lo mail chin ne so le ama ko mail lo yare ma ti da so phit me tacho mail ko ne so yin awa ko pian pi yo ma translate လုပ်ပေးလို့ရတယ်တကယ်လို့ email နဲ့ mail ချင်တယ်ဆိုရင် communitytrainers@apnic.net ဆိုတဲ့ email ကိုလှမ်းပြီးတော့မှ mail လို့ရတယ်အခုအဲ့ဒါဆိုရင်ကျမကအရင်ဆုံး introduction အနေနဲ့ကျမနာမည်ဖြိုးဖြိုးဟိတချို့လူတွေလည်းဒီသင်တန်းလာတက်တဲ့သူတွေလည်းသိကြရင်သိကြမယ်တချို့ကြလည်းတချို့မသိသေးတဲ့လူရှိရင်ကျမတို့ဒီ apnic က voluntary community trainer ပေါ့နော်အခုဒီ networking လောကမှာလောက်လာတာတော့15 years လောက်ရှိပြီအခုလောလောဆယ်တော့ကျွန်မ Australia ကိုရောက်နေတယ်မက်ခိုင်တို့နဲ့အတူတူရတနာပုံတယ်လီဖုန်းမှာလည်းတွဲလုပ်ခဲ့ဘူးတယ်ပေါ့နော်အဲ့ဒီခါကျတော့အကုန်လုံးမျက်နှာတမ်းမိနေပြီးတော့မှအကုန်လုံးကိုပြန်တွေ့ရတာလဲဝမ်းသာတဲ့ဝေးနေတော့မှဒီ event ကိုလာပြီးတော့မှသင်ခွင့်ရတဲ့အတွက်လည်းတကယ်ဝမ်းသာတယ်အဲ့ဒီခါကျတော့အခုဆက်ပြီးတော့မှကျွန်မ SNMP နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့အကြောင်းကိုပြောမယ် screen လေးတစ်ချက် share မယ်နော် screen share မယ်ဆိုတော့screen မြင်ရလားမသိဘူးเนาะ I want you can see my screen right
Yes.
okay okay အခုသောနာတော့အဝါကဘာကြောင့်မလို့ monitoring လိုတာလဲ network monitoring လုပ်တဲ့အချိန်မှာ inbound နဲ့ outbound နဲ့တကယ်လို့ power outage ဖြစ်ပြီဆိုရင် network ကိုလုပ်ချင်တဲ့ device တွေဆိုရင်cloud ထဲမှာထားလို့ရတယ် why do we need the monitoring andနဲ့ management နဲ့ဘာကြောင့်လိုလဲဆိုတဲ့အကြောင်းကို introduction အနေနဲ့ပြောခဲ့တယ်အဲ့ဒီမှာ SNMP ကတော့ကျမတို့ traditionally ရောအခုချိန်ထိလဲ network တွေတော်တော်များများမှာသုံးနေကြတော့မယ်ဒါပေမဲ့တခြား other protocols တွေလည်းရှိတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ဒီနေ့ကတော့အချိန်ရော limit ကတအားကြီးမများတဲ့အခါကျတော့များသောအားဖြင့်မြန်မာပြည်မှာလည်း network တွေတော်တော်များများက SNMP နဲ့သုံးတဲ့ဟာတွေပဲတော်တော်များများသုံးနေကြတဲ့အခါကျတော့ဒါဒီကျမတို့ SNMP ကိုပဲအစပြီးတော့မှစပြောမယ်ပေါ့နော်အဲ့တော့ပုံမှန် home network လေးတွေဆိုရင်တော့ကျမတို့ monitoring မလိုဘူး and for example like the ISP လို့ဟာမျိုး customer တွေကို service ပေးနေရတာတွေကအကုန်လုံးက SLA နဲ့ service ပေးနေရတဲ့ customer မျိုးကိုယ့်ရဲ့ network မှာရှိတဲ့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ network device တွေကို manage လုပ်ချင်တယ်ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ device တွေကိုထားပါတော့တချို့ကြတော့လေ every device ကိုမဟုတ်ဘဲနဲ့ဆောနာဝါပြောလို့ border device ကိုပဲ manage လုပ်ချင်တယ်တချို့ကြတော့လေမြန်မာပြည်မှာအခုလောလောဆယ်ဆိုသိတဲ့အတိုင်း power outage တွေဖြစ်တယ် link တွေ app တွေ down တွေ network က stable မဖြစ်တဲ့အချိန်မှာအဓိကအဖြစ်ဒီဟာဒီအရင်လိုအပ်လာတယ် large network တွေအကုန်အရင် sensitive ဖြစ်တဲ့ customer တွေတချို့ဆို CPE endpoint ဘယ် customer မှာ down တာလဲပြည့်ကြတော့ traffic ကို compare လုပ်ချင်တယ် time to time traffic compare လုပ်ချင်တယ်အဲ့လိုဟာမျိုးတွေမှာ graph တွေနဲ့လုပ်ချင်တယ်အဲ့လိုဟာမျိုးတွေမှာကျမတို့ MMIX လို့ခေါ်တယ် network monitoring system တွေ set up လုပ်လိုက်ကြရတယ်အဲ့ဒီဟာနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးအဓိက fundamental အနေနဲ့တော့ SNMP ကို network engineer တွေအနေနဲ့နားလည်ဖို့လိုတယ်အဲ့တော့ SNMP ရဲ့အရှေ့ကောက်က simple network management protocol ဒီနေ့ဒီ topics မှာဘာအကြောင်းအရာတွေပြောမလဲဆိုတော့ what is SNMP SNMP ဆိုတာဘာလဲအရှေ့ကောက်အနေနဲ့ပြောရဆိုရင် simple network management protocol ပြီးတော့ SNMP ထဲမှာပါတဲ့ components ဘယ်အပိုင်းအစိတ်အပိုင်းနေနဲ့ဟိုမှာဒီ system ကို run ထားတာလဲဒီ protocol ကအလုပ်လုပ်နေတာလဲပြီးရဲ့အခါကျတော့ SNMP protocol commands တွေအကြောင်းပြောမယ် SNMP version 1 version 2 version 3ဆိုပြီးမှ၃မျိုးရှိတယ်ပြီးရင် SNMP communities SNMP packet capture SNMP configuration example ဆိုပြီးတော့မှဒီ contents တွေအကြောင်းကိုကျွန်တော်တို့ဆွေးနွေးသွားမယ် Okay What is SNMP? SNMPဆိုတာဒီ application layer protocol. Everyone will not OSI 7 layer မှာအပေါ်ဆုံး top layer က the most top layer ဒီ application layer. Application layer မှာအလုပ်လုပ်တဲ့ protocol ဖြစ်တဲ့ SNMP protocol. ဒီဘာလုပ်ဖို့အတွက်သုံးတာလဲဆိုရင်အဓိက network devices တွေ network devices ဆိုတဲ့အထဲမှာ routers တွေပါမယ် switches တွေပါမယ် servers တွေပါမယ် အဲ့ဒီ device တွေကို monitor ကြည့်မယ်သူတို့ရဲ့ status ကိုမှ interface down သွားလား app သွားလားဒီ network ကဒီ router က power down သွားလား app power down သွားလားသူတို့ရဲ့ CPU usage ဘယ်လောက်ရှိသလဲအဲ့လိုမျိုးဟာတွေ manage လုပ်ဖို့အတွက်သုံးတယ်အဲ့တော့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ network မှာ error တွေရှိတယ် fault ရှိတယ် issue ရှိတယ်ထားပါတော့ BGP border network ဆိုရင် BGP border gateway protocol က peering လုပ်ထားတယ် peering က down သွားတယ်ဆိုရင် BGP ကို monitor လုပ်ခြင်းအဖြစ်သူက down သွားတယ်ဒီတက်သူရဲ့ fault ကပါ BGP peer down သွားတဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်မို့ internet outage ဖြစ်သွားတယ်ကိုချက်ချင်းသိလို့ရတယ်ဘယ်နှမိနစ်က down တာလဲသူအချိန်လုံး time အလိုက်ကိုဘယ်အချိန်လုံးကကြည့်ရလဲဘယ်နှစ်နာရီလုံးကနောက်ဆုံး down ပြောမှာဘယ်အချိန်လုံးက traffic က down နေတာ traffic ကစကြနေပြီလဲအကုန်လုံး every detail ကိုကြည့်လို့ရတယ်ပြီးရင် the interface တဲ့ device ရဲ့ throughput ဆိုတာကျတော့သူရဲ့ traffic bandwidth တွေ speed တွေအဲ့ဒါမျိုးတွေကိုကြည့်လို့ရတယ်ပြီးရင်တို့တွေကဘာလဲလုပ်လို့ရလဲဆိုတော့ remote configuration SNMP server အနေမှာလှမ်းပြီးတော့မှကိုက IP address တွေ change နေ host name တွေ change နေတခြား configuration ကိုလုပ်ချင်တဲ့ဟာတွေဆိုရင်ကို manage ပြီးတော့ remote configuration လုပ်လို့ရတယ်ဆို SNMP ကဘာကိုသုံးတာလဲဆိုရင် UDP protocol သုံးတာ transport layer မှာ TCP နဲ့ UDP ဆိုပြီးမှနှစ်မျိုးရှိတဲ့နေရာမှာတို့ SNMP ကသုံးတာဒီ transport layer protocol အနေနဲ့ကိုမှ UDP ကိုသုံးတယ်အဲ့တော့ဒါဆို network တွေမှာဆိုရင်များသောအားဖြင့် ISP network တွေမှာဆိုရင်ပုံမှန်အတိုင်းအဆို user တွေရဲ့ internet global network နဲ့ management network နဲ့ကိုခွဲထားလေးရှိတယ်ခွဲထားလေးရှိရဆိုရင် NMN network က management network က VLAN နဲ့ဖြစ်ဖြစ်ခွဲလေးရှိတယ်တချို့ကြတော့လဲ MPLS သုံးတယ်ဆိုရင် VRF နဲ့ဖြစ်ဖြစ်ခွဲထားလေးရှိတယ် network တွေမှာပြီးရင်ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ infrastructure မှာ server farm base အဲ့မှာရှိမယ် switch ရှိမယ်အဲ့မှာ firewall တော့ခံလေးရှိတယ်ပြီးတဲ့အခါကျတော့ network management server ထားလေးရှိတယ်ထားလေးရှိပြီးတော့ network management server ဒီ device တွေကို network ထဲမှာရှိတဲ့ device တွေကို manage လုပ်ဖို့အတွက်ထားလေးရှိတာကိုယ် NMN network အတွက်ကိုတည်တံ့ကို infrastructure နဲ့ design ကိုကိုယ့်ကိုကြိုဆွဲထားမယ်ပေါ့နော် network management စလုပ်ချင်နေဆိုရင်ပြီးတဲ့အခါကျတော့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ network နဲ့အသင့်တော်ဆုံး tools တွေကိုဆိုတော့အဝါပြောတဲ့ tools တွေထဲကနေမှပြန်ပြီးတော့မှဟိုဘာသုံးချင်လဲ Catai ကိုသုံးချင်လား Libra ကိုသုံးချင်လား Netgear သုံးမလားဆိုတာကြတော့ကို requirement ပေါ်မှာမူတည်ပြီး internet ပေါ်မှာကိုယ့်အကို self research ပြန်လုပ်ရမှာပေါ့အဲ့တော့ဒါပေမဲ့ most of the NMS တွေဒီသူရဲ့ generally concept အနေနဲ့ကသူရဲ့ general concept အနေနဲ့ကဒီ SNMP protocol ကိုသုံးထားကြတယ်အဲ့တော့ SNMP ထဲမှာဘာ components တွေပါလဲဆိုတော့ SNMP ထဲမှာ SNMP manager ပါတယ် SNMP agent ပါတယ် management information base ပါတယ် managed devices တွေပါတယ်ဆိုတော့အဲ့ဒီ components တွေအကုန်လုံးကျွန်တော်တို့နောက် slide မှာတစ်ချက်ကြည့်မယ် SNMP components ထဲမှာ SNMP manager ကကြတော့ဘာလုပ်တာလဲဆိုတော့ SNMP manager ဒီ SNMP server run ထားတဲ့ထဲမှာ SNMP service run ထားရမယ်အဲ့မှာ SNMP manager run ထားတဲ့ server ကိုကျွန်တော်တို့ normally ဘာလို့ခေါ်လဲဆိုရင် network management station network management server လို့ခေါ်လေးရှိတယ်သူကဒီ device နဲ့ device စီက information တွေကိုသူ collect လုပ်မယ် pool လုပ်မယ် device မှာရှိတဲ့ information တွေသူ့ရဲ့ CPU information သူ့ရဲ့ interface information သူ့ရဲ့ power information power usage information စသဖြင့် every details information တွေကိုလုပ်မယ်ဒီတခုခု network မှာတခုခုဖြစ်တယ် fault ဖြစ်တယ် error ဖြစ်တယ်ဆိုရင် alert ပေးမယ်အဲ့လိုမျိုးလုပ်တဲ့အလုပ်က SNMP manager ကလုပ်တယ်ဒါကတော့ SNMP server ကနေမှလုပ်ပေးတယ်လို့အဲ့ဒါကြောင့်မလို့လဲကျွန်တော်တို့သုံးတာလေဒီ information တွေကိုသိကျင်တဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်မလို့သူ့ရဲ့အလုပ်ကအဲ့ဒီ information တွေကို pooling လုပ်ရတဲ့အလုပ်ကိုလုပ်တယ် typically a central အခါကျတော့ centralized application ဆိုရင် network မှာ centralized server တစ်ခုရှိပြီးတော့မှ device တွေအကုန်လုံးဒီအဲ့ဒီ SNMP server စီကိုသွားပြီးတော့မှ information ပို့ပေးရတယ် SNMP server အဲ့ရဒီမှာ collect လုပ်ပေးရတယ်အဲ့ဆို alert လုပ်တဲ့အချိန်ကျရင် email နဲ့ alert လုပ်လို့ရတယ်ဒါ method တွေကပြီးတော့ SMS နဲ့ alert လုပ်လို့ရတယ် administrator စီကိုအဲ့မှာကျွန်တော်တို့ network တွေမှာဆိုရင် NOC room ဆိုပြီးမှတက်တက်ထားတယ်အဲ့ NOC room မှာဆိုရင် monitor တွေနဲ့ဟိုမှာထားလို့ရတယ်တကယ်လို့ engineer က outside of the network မှာရှိနေတယ်ရုပ်အိမ်မှာရှိနေတယ်ရုံးမှာမရှိဘူးဆိုရင်လည်း engineer တွေမှာ remote နဲ့ဟိုမှာများသောအားဖြင့် network တွေ VPN နဲ့သွားလို့ရတယ်တချို့ကြလည်း public access နဲ့ဝင်လို့ရတယ်အဲ့မှာကိုယ့် engineer ဝင်လို့ရအောင်ကိုယ့် NMS server ကို login ဝင်ပြီးတော့မှ monitor လုပ်လို့ရတယ်ပြီးရင် email မှာ network မှာတစ်ခုဖြစ်ပြီးဆိုတာနဲ့ engineer ရဲ့ email တွေကိုလာတယ် engineer ရဲ့ phone ကို SMS ပို့တယ်အဲ့လိုမျိုး function တွေလုပ်ပေးလို့ရတယ်အဲ့မှာ pooling ကကျတော့ SNMP pooling ဒီ server ကနေမှပို့လိုက်တယ် SNMP manager ကဘယ် UDP port ကိုလို့ဆိုတော့ UDP port number 161 161နဲ့ဟိုမှာ managers will send out the UDP for 161နဲ့ဟိုမှာပို့မယ်161နဲ့ပို့ရတဲ့ဒီ network မှာ make sure that SNMP UDP 161ဒီ firewall တို့ဘာတို့မှာ block လုပ်နေတာမျိုးမဖြစ်စေနဲ့ UDP 161ရယ်162ရယ်162ကကျတော့ agent ကနေပို့တာ161ကကျတော့ server ကနေပို့တာအခုဒီမှာပြောထားတဲ့ slide ထဲကဟာလေးတွေဒီနောက်ပိုင်း question မေးတဲ့အချိန်မှာလဲပါမှာဖြစ်တဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်မလို့ information လေးတွေကိုသေချာမှတ်ထားလိုက်ဘူးเนาะအဲကြတော့ question ကလဲစုလဲပေးမှာဆိုတဲ့အခါကျတော့ဒီမေးခွန်းလေးတွေကိုသေချာကြည့်ထားပြီးမှဘာတွေမေးနိုင်လဲဆိုတာမျိုးလေးတွေသေချာကြည့်ပြီးတဲ့အခါကျတော့ဒီမှာမှတ်ထားပေးလိုက်အဲဆို SNMP server ကနေမှပို့တာဒီ UDP 161နဲ့ပို့တယ်အဲ့တော့ firewall တို့ဘာတို့မှာအဲ့ဒီဟာတွေဒီလုံးဝ block လုပ်နေလို့ဘို့မလုပ်မထားစေနဲ့တကယ်လို့ကိုက SNMP သုံးမယ်ဆိုရင် management network မှာ now တစ်ခုကကျတော့ SNMP agent SNMP agent ကကျတော့ SNMP agent ကဘာလုပ်တာလဲဆိုတော့ SNMP agent ကဒီ device manage လုပ်တဲ့ device ထဲမှာ run ထားရတဲ့ဟာ SNMP agentဒါဆိုဒီ router တွေ switch တွေ server တွေထဲမှာ agent service လေး run ထားပေးရတယ်အဲ့မှာဒီ agent service run ထားပြီးတော့ process on the monitor service တကယ်လို့ SNMP က information pool manager တွေမှာ pooling လုပ်ပြီးမှာ okay မင်းရဲ့ CPU information ပေးပါမင်းရဲ့ interface information ပေးပါဆိုရင်သူကနေမှာ response ပြန်ရတယ်response ပြန်ပြီးတော့ခါကျတော့ဒီ information ကိုသူ့စီကိုမှလာပြီးပေးရတယ်အဲ့မှာ SNMP trap ဆိုတာရှိတယ် trap ကကြတဲ့အခါကျတော့ unsolicited message လို့ပြောတယ် unsolicited message ဆိုတာ သူကကျတော့ဒီ acknowledgement မပြန်ဘူးတခုခု interface down ပြီဆိုတာနဲ့တန်းပြီးတော့မှ alert message ပို့တယ်ဟိုဘက်ကနေပြန်ပြီးတော့မှထားပါတော့ gigabit ethernet 0/1ထားပါဒီမှာကျတော့SNMP router ရှိတယ်ဒီမှာကswitch ရှိတယ်ဒီမှာ server ရှိတယ်အဲ့မှာ interface တွေက G0/0/0 ဆိုဒီမှာ NMS ရှိတယ် 0/0/ က down သွားတယ်ဆိုတာနဲ့ဒီမှာသူကဘာ message ပို့လဲဆိုတော့ဒီမှာ trap ဆိုတဲ့ message ပို့မယ်အဲ့ trap ပို့ရဆိုရင်ဒီ trap ဒီသူ just alert ပေးလိုက်တော့ပဲသူ့စီပြန်ပြီးတော့မှresponse ပြန်ရမလို့ဘူးသူကနေမှလှမ်းပြီးတော့မှ message alert ပေးလိုက်တယ်အဲ့ဒါမျိုးဆို unsolicited trap message တခုခု interface down သွားတယ်လို့ဘာလို့ဆိုရင်ပြန်နဲ့ပြောတဲ့ဟာမျိုးအဲ့ကဒီ agent ကနေမှပို့တဲ့ဟာကြတော့ agent ကနေမှပို့တဲ့ဟာကိုကြတော့ဘာပို့နေလို့ပြောတော့ UDP 162နဲ့ပို့တယ် manager ပို့တာကြတော့ UDP port number 161နဲ့ပို့တယ်ဆိုအကုန်လုံး keep track လုပ်ပေးနေတာပေါ့နော် agent management device ဒီ SNMP အဲ့မှာ configuration တချို့လုပ်ပေးရတဲ့ router မှာဒီ SNMP ဆိုတာဒီ read only လား read write လား read ပြည့်အခါကျတော့ trap message လုပ်မယ်ဆိုရင် trap notification ပို့မလားစသဖြင့်အဲ့ဒါမျိုးတွေကိုဒီ SNMP enable device တွေမှာ end device တွေမှာလုပ်ပေးရတယ်အဲ့ဒါကိုကျတော့ SNMP agent လို့ခေါ်တယ်နောက်တစ်ခုကကျတော့ management information base ကကြတော့ကျမတို့ကဒီ SNMP MIB ကိုဒီ database အနေနဲ့အဲ့ထဲမှာဘာတွေရှိလဲဆိုတော့ SNMP database ထဲမှာသူ့ရဲ့ variable လေးတွေရှိတယ် variable ဆိုတာအမှအဲ့ variable တစ်ခုချင်းစီကဘာကိုစားပြလဲဆိုရင် BGP နဲ့ပတ်သက်တာ interface ကို monitor လုပ်ချင်တာလားဒါမှမဟုတ် power ကို monitor လုပ်ချင်တာလား OSPF monitor လုပ်ချင်တာလား fan cooling ကို monitor လုပ်ချင်တာလားစသဖြင့်အဲ့ဒီ every variable လေးတွေကိုတင်ထားတဲ့ database ကို SNMP MIB လို့ခေါ်တယ်အဲ့ဒီ MIB တွေကိုကြတော့အဲ့ device တွေထဲမှာvendor တွေရဲ့ device တွေထဲမှာ Cisco မှာလဲဆိုလဲသူ့ရဲ့ default MIB တွေပါပြီးသားတကယ်လို့ကိုက additional download ချခြင်းနဲ့ဆိုရင်လဲသူ့ရဲ့ vendor တွေရဲ့ website တွေမှာသူ download ချလို့ရတယ် standard MIB တွေလည်းရှိတယ်အဲ့ထဲမှာ variables လေးတွေပါတဲ့ဟာကို object identifier OID လို့ခေါ်တယ်သူရဲ့အလုပ်လုပ်ပုံဒီ hierarchical structure tree ပုံစံမျိုးနဲ့အလုပ်လုပ်တယ်အဲ့တော့ဒီမှာ collection of definitions which define the properties of the managed object အဲ့ managed object တွေထဲမှာ database ထဲမှာ values တွေကိုတင်ထားတယ်သူရဲ့ structure ဒီ hierarchical structure အနေနဲ့ရှိတယ်ပြီးကြတော့ OID is the object identifier value typically an address to identify particular device and its status အမှဒီဒါဒီ particular အမှထားပါတော့ host name နဲ့ပတ်သက်တယ်ဆိုရင် host name နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ OID သက်သက်ရှိမယ် BGP peer ဆိုရင် BGP နဲ့ပတ်သက်ထားရှိတယ် interface traffic speed ဆိုရင် speed နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ OID ရှိမယ်ကို monitor လုပ်ချင်တဲ့ variable တစ်ခုချင်းစီထဲမှာ identity ရှိတယ်အဲ့ဒီဟာတွေကိုဖွဲ့စည်းတဲ့ OID တွေရဲ့ပုံစံကလည်း structure ဒီ hierarchically နဲ့ tree structure နဲ့လာတယ်အဲ့ဒီကဟာကို next slide မှာထပ်ပြီးပြောပြသွားမယ်အဲ့ဒါတော့ information လှမ်းတောင်းမယ်ဆိုရင်ကိုက SNMP manager ဒီ router တွေ switch တွေ device တွေဒီကလှမ်းတောင်းမယ်ဆိုရင် query လှမ်းလုပ်မယ်ဆိုရင်သူက OID ကိုလှမ်းပို့ပေးရတယ်အဲ့ OID ကိုပြီးပြီဆိုတော့မှာ OID ဘာဖြစ်နေလဲဆိုတော့ကိုက alert လုပ်လို့ရတယ်အဲ့ဆိုတော့ OID ကိုသူတို့ information အနေနဲ့ပြန်ပေးရတယ်ပြီးရင် SNI wireတကယ်လို့ကိုကစိတ်ဝင်စားတယ်ဆိုရင်အမြဲတမ်း network မှာလုပ်မယ်ဆိုရင် wire shark ကို run ထားပြီးတော့မှကို run နေတယ်ဆိုရင်ကိုက ISPN engineer ဆိုရင်အဲ့မှာ wire shark ထဲကနေမှpacket လေးတွေပြန်ကြည့်ကြည့်လိုက်အဲ့စိတ်ဝင်စားဖို့ကောင်းတယ် wire shark နဲ့ကြည့်ရတာလေအဲ့မှာသူ့ရဲ့ detail SNMP message တွေနဲ့သူဘယ်လိုအလုပ်လုပ်လဲဆိုတာ packet ရဲ့ behavior ကိုကြည့်လို့ရတယ်အဲ့မှာ OID information တွေပါလေကြည့်လို့ရတယ်ကိုစိတ်ဝင်စားတယ်ဆိုရင်ပြီးတော့ SNMP components ထဲမှာ OID MIB ထဲမှာဆို OID ပါတယ်လို့ပြောတယ်သူရဲ့ OID structure ဒီတို့ tree structure အနေနဲ့လာတယ်လို့ပြောတဲ့ခါကျတော့ဒီမှာဆိုရင် root ရှိမယ်root ပြီးရင် ISO ပြီးရင် organization ပြီးရင် DOD ပြီး internet ပြီး management ပြီးရင် MIB2 system 1 system description အဲ့ဒါဆိုတော့ဒီမှာ system description က 1.1.2.1.6.0.1.3.6 မှာဆိုရင် .1.3.6 1.2.1.1.0 စသဖြင့်ဒီမှာသူ့ရဲ့ OID က system description ဆိုရင်ဒီမှာအဲ့လိုမျိုးသူ့ရဲ့ hierarchically လာတယ် hierarchical အခု OID နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ information တွေကြည့်ချင်တယ်ဆိုရင် MMIX Academy website မှာပြန်ပြီးတော့မှတစ်ချက်ပြန် share မယ်နော် MMIX ဒီမှာဟိုဟာပို့ပေးမယ် OID နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ဟာတွေဆိုရင် oidinfo.com ဆိုတာရှိတယ် screen ပြန် share မယ်ဒါလေး MMIX Academy website အဲ့ဒီမှာဆိုရင်ဘာပါလဲဆိုတော့ resources ဆိုတဲ့နေရာမှာကိုကြည့်ကျင်နေဆိုရင် screen မြင်ရလားမသိဘူးเนาะဒီမှာ share ထားတဲ့ screen academy page မှာအဲ့မှာ OID info ဆိုပြီးမှပါမယ် OID info ပြန် share မယ် ဒီမှာဆိုရင် OID နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ OID information တွေကိုကို search လုပ်ရှင်နေဆိုရင်ဒီမှာ search လုပ်လို့ရတယ်နောက်တစ်ခုက OID info နဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့မှကြည့်ရှင်နေဆိုရင် best https best monitoring.tools အဲ့ဒီမှာ MIB browser ဆိုတာရှိတယ် MIB browser ထဲမှာမှာထားပါတော့ဒီမှာ Cisco ဆိုရင် Cisco Juniper Palo Alto သူ့ရဲ့ဟိုဟာတဲ့vendor တွေရှိတယ် vendor တွေထဲမှာကိုကထားပါတော့ BGP နဲ့ပတ်သက်တာရှာခြင်းတယ် BGP နဲ့ပတ်သက်တာ MIB ရှာခြင်းဆိုဒီမှာ BGP နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ MIB ရှာမယ် MIB တွေရှာပြည့်တဲ့အခါကျတော့ထားပါတော့ဒီမှာဆိုရင် BGP4 MIB ဆိုတာရှိတယ် BGP4 MIB ဆိုတဲ့နေရာမှာဒီမှာ BGP MIB တွေအကြောင်းလား BGP version BGP local AS BGP identifier BGP admin status BGP peer BGP local address စသဖြင့်သူ့ရဲ့ MIB value တွေရှိတယ်ဒီ MIB value တွေနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီး Cisco မှာဆိုလဲ Cisco ရဲ့ website ကနေမှသူ့ရဲ့သက်ဆိုင်ရာ MIB တွေကို search လုပ်လို့ရတယ် OID checker ဆိုပြီးလဲ search လုပ်လို့ရတယ် BGP path origin အဲ့တော့ဒီဟာ copy လုပ်လိုက်မယ်ပြီးရင် OID check လုပ်မယ်ထားပါတော့ဒီ OID နံပါတ်တစ်ခုကို search လုပ်ပြီးရှာလိုက်မယ်ဒီ OID ဒီဘာ OID လဲဆိုတာရှာမယ်ဆိုရင်ဒီမှာပေါ်လာတယ်ဒါဒီ BGP default BGP version 4 RFC 1269အဲ့မှာ RFC တွေနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့မှ SNMP နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ RFC တွေကိုဖတ်ချင်တယ်ဆိုရင်လေဒီမှာ resource ထဲမှာပါလဲဆိုရင် RFC SNMP RFC ဆိုတာရှိတယ် SNMP version အဲ့ဒီ RFC ကိုဖတ်တယ်ဆိုရင် SNMP version 1ဆိုရင် RFC 1157မှာတွေ့မယ်အဲ့မှာ SNMP version 2 version 3ဆိုရင် version 2နဲ့ version 3တွေဆိုရင်ဒီမှာဆိုရင်25ဒီ version 3နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ RFC တွေဆိုရင်တွေ့မယ်အဲ့ဒီက RFC တွေဒီစိတ်ဝင်စားရဲဆိုရင်အဲ့မှာဝင်ဖက်လိုက်ဒီကို network နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ဟာတွေအကုန်လုံးကို implement လုပ်ချင်တယ်ဆိုရင်ဒီသူတို့ရဲ့ definition တွေသူတို့ရဲ့ technology detail တွေဒီ RFC တွေထဲမှာတင်ထားတယ်အဲဆို SNMP version 3နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ RFC တွေဒီ links တွေအကုန်လုံးကိုကျွန်တော်တို့ဘယ်မှာပေးထားလဲဆိုတဲ့အခါကျတော့ဒီ academy resource ထဲမှာပေးထားတယ်ဒါ OID ရဲ့အလုပ်လုပ်ပုံ OID ဒီ every interface ဆိုလဲ interface ဆိုတော့ BGP ဆိုလဲ BGP နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ OID နံပါတ်တွေအများကြီးရှိတယ်သူ့ရဲ့ structure ဒီ hierarchically နဲ့သွားတယ်ဒီလိုမျိုး root ISO လိုက်တဲ့ DNS မှာလောက်တယ်မျိုး root system top level domain level အဲ့လိုမျိုး tree structure နဲ့သွားတယ်โอเคအဲ့ဒါဆိုကျွန်မဟိုပြန်ပြီးတော့မှ share လုပ်မယ် slides ကိုပြန် sharing လုပ်လိုက်မယ် slides ကိုပြန် sharing လုပ်လိုက်မယ်ဆိုတော့ခဏလေးအခု slide ကိုပြန်မြင်ရပြီလားမသိဘူးเนาะ slide ကိုမြင်ရပြီဆိုရင် share something happened wrong please okay SNMP components ဒီမှာ MIB အော်စောစောတော့ပြောတဲ့အထက်မှာပါကြံခဲ့သေးလဲဆိုဒီမှာဆိုရင် SNMP agent ဆိုရင် trap ဆိုရင် NMS ကဟော server ကို trap ပို့လိုက်တယ်ပို့လိုက်ပြီးအခါကျတော့တကယ်လို့တခု information လုပ်တယ်ဆိုရင် NMS server ကနေမှာ agent ကို query လုပ်တယ် agent ကနေမှာ NMS agent ကနေမှာ NMS ကို response လုပ်တယ်အဲ့လို response လုပ်တဲ့အချိန်မှာသူရဲ့ OID information တွေကိုသူတို့စီကိုပို့ပေးရတယ်သူ management information database ကိုလုပ်တာအဲ့ဆို MIB ဒီနှစ်ခုစလုံးမှာရှိရတယ် NMS တွေမှာလည်းသူတို့ဘယ် device ကို support လုပ်တယ်ဘယ်ဟာ support လုပ်တယ်ဆိုတာသူ NMS တွေမှာရှိတယ် Cisco support လုပ်တယ် Juniper support လုပ်တယ် most of the thing အကုန်လုံးများသောအားဖြင့် support လုပ်ကြတယ်ပြီးတဲ့အခါကျတော့ router တွေမှာလည်းသူတို့သက်ဆိုင်ရာ MIB တွေသူတို့ vendor တွေကအကုန်လုံးထားတယ်အဲ့ခါကျတော့အဲ့ဒီ database ကထဲက variable တွေကို information ပြန်ပြီးတော့ပို့ကြတယ်ဒါက management information base နောက်တစ်ခုကကျတော့ SNMP agent can implement many MIBs MIBs တွေအကုန်အများကြီးကို MIB install လုပ်လို့ရတယ် implement လုပ်ထားတယ် but all agents implement a particular MIB and MIB2 MIB နဲ့ MIB2 ကိုလုပ်ထားတယ်အဲ့တော့ MIB နဲ့2နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ဟာတွေဒီဆို TCP/IP general information တွေပေါ့နော် for example interface တို့ speeds တို့ MTU တို့ outlets တို့ system location system contact ဒါဆိုဒီ device ကဘယ် location မှာရှိလဲဘယ် contact မှာရှိလဲသူရဲ့ interface speed maximum transmission unit speed ဘယ်လောက်ရှိလဲအဲ့ဒီ information တွေအကုန်လုံး most of the device တွေမှာအကုန်လုံးပါတာ MIB2 RFC1213 မှာရှိတဲ့ information ဟာတွေအကုန်လုံးကဒီများသောအားဖြင့် agent တွေမှာအကုန်လုံးပါတယ် There are many draft proposal အဲ့ဆိုရင် proposal တွေအကုန်လုံးဆို interface type MIB ဆိုရင် RFC2115 BGP version 4ဆိုရင် RFC1657 DNS server MIB ဆိုရင် RFC1611 အဲ့ဒီဟာတွေမှာသွားပြီးတော့မှကြည့်လို့ရတယ်အဲ့မှာ SNMP နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ RFC တွေဆိုရင် RFC1157 ဆိုရင် SNMP version 1 RFC 2571တို့2572 2573 2574တို့ဆိုရင် SNMP version 2နဲ့ version 3နဲ့ the vendor တွေကတချို့ vendor တွေကမှာ vendor တွေဒီသူတို့ရဲ့ကိုယ်ပိုင် own VIP ကိုလည်း property MIB ကိုလည်း define သတ်မှတ်ထားတာရှိတယ်အဲ့တော့ဒီ MIB ဒီ SNMP အထဲတည်းကတကယ် information လိုချင်တယ်ဆိုရင်သူတို့မရှိဘဲနဲ့ဟိုမှာဒီ SNMP အလုံးမလုံးဘူးပေါ့နော်အဲ့ဒါတွေလည်းအရေးကြီးတဲ့ထဲမှာပါတယ်အခုဒီမှာပြထားတဲ့ဟာက SNMP components ဆိုတော့ကျွန်မ browse လုပ်ပြတဲ့ဟာဒီ URL လေးကိုတစ်ချက်ကြည့်ထားလိုက်မယ် https bestmonitoringtools.com အဲ့ဒီမှာမှအခုဆောနာကျွန်မပြသလိုမျိုး BGP နဲ့ပတ်သက်တယ်ဆိုရင် BGP နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ OID တွေ BGP version ဆိုရင် 1.3.6.1.2.1.15.1 IP address ဆိုရင် BGP peer IP address ဆိုရင် 1.3.6.1.2.15.3.11 ဒါသူရဲ့ BGP နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ interface တွေဒီဘက်မှာကြတဲ့အခါကျတော့ interface နဲ့ပတ်သက်တာ interface table interface operation status up နေလား down နေလားစသဖြင့်အဲ့မှာသူရဲ့ traffic တွေဒါ interface speed ဆိုရင် IF speed ဆိုရင်ဒီမှာ 1.3.6.2.1.1.5 ဒါသူရဲ့ MIB ထဲမှာပြောတဲ့ interface speed ကို query လုပ်ချင်တယ်ဆိုရင်ဒီ OID ကို response ပြန်ပေးရတယ်အမ Cisco feature navigator အနေနဲ့ဆိုရင် MIB ဆိုရင် Cisco မှာဆိုရင် https cfnng.cisco.com MIB ဆိုရင်ဒီ website ကိုရှာကြည့်လိုက်
အလုံးမဖြုတ်ဟုတ်ဟိုဟာလေ share ရတဲ့ screen ကဟိုဘောတော့ရက်နေတော့အခုမှစသွားတယ်ဗျ
အော်ဟုတ်လား
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ခင်ဗျဟုတ်ခုနကမသွားဖြစ်ဘူးထင်တယ်ဟုတ်ကျွန်တော်တို့ slide number 7လောက်ထဲက slide ကရက်နေတာဗျဟုတ် slide number 7လေ
အော်
ဟုတ်ကဲ့
တော့တော့ကျွန်မဟိုဟာလေဟိုဟာ screen ဟိုဟာ desktop နာ web page တွေ browse လုပ်ပြတာမြင်ရလား
မမြင်လိုက်မြင်ရလား အော်မြင်လိုက်ရတယ်ခင်ဗျမြင်လိုက်ရတယ်လို့ပြောတယ်အဲ့ဒါတော့ဟုတ်
web page တွေနဲ့ဟိုမှာဒီ web browsing လုပ်တဲ့ဟာမျိုးဟာတွေလေ
ဟုတ်အဲ့ဒါတွေမြင်လိုက်တယ်ခင်ဗျဟုတ်
အဲ့ဒါလေးတွေတော့မြင်လိုက်တယ်နော်
ဟုတ်ကဲ့မြင်လိုက်ပါတယ်
အဲ့ဒါဆိုရင်ကျွန်မပြန်ပြီးတော့မှဟုတ်တယ် slides က stack ဖြစ်သွားတယ်ရှင် hang ဖြစ်သွားတယ်လို့ပဲ
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ပါဟုတ်ဒါဆိုရင်ပြန် share ပါကျေးဇူးပါခင်
ပြန်
ဗျ
ပြီးတော့မှ share လိုက်မယ်နော်ပြန်
ဟုတ်
ပြီး
ကဲ့
တော့
ပါပါ
So, Phil?
Yes, I am at that time is my screen share has the same problem and it is stuck.
Oh, okay. Maybe you no need to share those like the URLs just to save time. You know, it's almost very close to the break time there. So maybe
Okay.
finish the slides instead of explaining the URLs. Maybe the participants will later check the URL by themselves
Okay.
just to save the time.
Okay. Because I was thinking that they cannot see the link through the Zoom, so I was showing the screen and URL. So I will do as you suggest. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Just to save time because another 5 minutes, after 5 minutes, they will have their break, I think.
Okay. Slide 7 လောက်ကစပြီးတော့မမြင်ရတော့ဘူးเนาะ
Hello ဟုတ်မှာ slide number 9လို့ပြောတယ်ခင်ဗျ slide number 9လောက်ကစပြီးတော့ရှက်သွားတယ်ပြောပါတယ်ဟုတ်ကဲ့
Okay. The screen share.အခု slide number 7မြင်ရလားမသိဘူးเนาะ Screen မြင်ရလား
Hello ဟုတ်မြင်ရတယ်မာကြီးဟုတ်ကဲ့မြင်ရပါတယ်ခင်ဗျ
Okay. ဒါ SNMP agent နဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီး agent ကနေမှ trap ပို့တယ်ပြီးရင် query ပို့တယ်ပြီးရင် response ပြန်တယ်အကြောင်းပြောတယ်ဒီမှာကျတော့ MIB slide number 8ကကျတော့ဒီ MIB ထဲမှာဘာတွေပါလဲဆိုရင်သူ database ဖြစ်တယ် manage device တိုင်းဒီသူ့ရဲ့ database ကိုနဲ့အဲ့ values တွေကိုတင်ထားရတယ်သူ့ရဲ့ structure ဒီ hierarchical structure ဖြစ်တယ်တစ်ခုချင်းစီပါတဲ့ value တွေဒီအဲ့ထဲမှာရှိတဲ့ device နဲ့သူ့ရဲ့ status ကိုပြရဲဆိုပြီးကျွန်မဆွမ်းနာတော့ပြခဲ့တာကျတော့ဒီ web page မှာ browse လုပ်ပြီးတော့မှ Cisco ဆိုရင် Cisco ရဲ့သူ့ရဲ့ interface ဆိုရင် interface သူ့ရဲ့ MIB BGP MIB အဲ့ဒါတွေပြခဲ့တယ်နောက်တစ်ခုကဒီမှာ the OID structure ကိုပြခဲ့တယ် OID structure ဒီသူ့ရဲ့ hierarchy ဆို root လာမယ် ISO လာမယ် organization management MIB2 system 1 system 2ဒီမှာ example ပြထားတာဒီသူဒီဘာကိုပြထားတာလဲဆိုတော့ system name host name ကို system description ကိုကြည့်နေတယ်ဆိုရင်ဒီ OID နဲ့ဟိုမှာကြည့်ရတယ်ဆိုပြီးတော့မှပြောခဲ့တယ်1.1.3.6.1.2.1.1.0 ဆိုပြီးတော့မှသူ hierarchically သွားတယ်ဒါမှကျတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ RFC တွေအဲ့ဒီဟာတွေကျွန်တော်စောစောကကျတော့ဒီ Academy website မှာဒီ RFC တွေနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့မှ SNMP RFC တွေကိုကြည့်လေ့လာခြင်းနဲ့ဆိုအဲ့ဒီမှာ link ကိုသွားကြည့်ပြီးတော့အသေးစိတ် detail ဖတ်လို့ရတယ် vendor တစ်ခုချင်းစီမှာလည်းသူ့ရဲ့ own MIB တွေရှိတယ်standard MIB အနေနဲ့တော့များသောအားဖြင့် agents တော်တော်များများသုံးလေးစီမှာပါ implement လုပ်ထားတာက MIB နဲ့ MIB2 နဲ့ကို implement လုပ်ထားတယ်အဲ့ဒါတွေကဘာတွေနဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့အကြောင်းအရာတွေကိုသူတို့ provide လုပ်နိုင်လဲဆိုတော့ interface speed တွေ maximum transmission unit ပြီးရင် system location system context စသဖြင့်အဲ့ information details တွေကိုပေးထားတဲ့ဟာမျိုးဒါကပြီးရဲ့အခါကျတော့မှ best monitoring tools.com ကနေမှကျွန်တော်တို့အခုဒီဟာမှာပြထားရဆိုရင် BGP version BGP local AS BGP peer BGP identifier စသဖြင့်ဒီ information တွေအကုန်လုံးဒီမှာဆိုရင်သွားကြည့်လို့ရတယ်ဒီဘက်က table ကကျတော့ဘာအကြောင်းအရာနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးပြောရလဲဆိုတော့ interface မှာဆိုရင် interface speed ဆိုရင် 1.3.6.1.2.1.15 ဒီဟာဒီ interface speed နဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီး query လုပ်ချင်တဲ့server ကသိချင်တယ်ဆိုရင်သူ router device ကိုသူဒီ value ကို query လုပ်တယ်ဆိုရင်ဒီ interface speed နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ information ကို server ရတယ်ဒါမှ Cisco feature navigator အနေနဲ့ဟိုမှာကျမတို့ကဒီ Cisco account နဲ့တော့ login ဝင်ဖို့လိုတယ်ဝင်ပြီးတဲ့အခါကျတော့ဒီ web page ကိုသွား Cisco ကမှ Cisco ID ရှိရဆိုရင်အဲ့မှာ information ကိုဒီမှာကို device ရှာပါတော့ဒီမှာဆို CSR 1000V version 116.64 the license က advanced IP service လား advanced enterprise service လားစသဖြင့်အဲ့ဒါရွေးပြီးတဲ့အခါကျတော့မှ search လုပ်လိုက်တယ်ဆိုရင်အဲ့ဒီ device မှာ support လုပ်တဲ့ MIB တွေအကုန်လုံးတို့မြင်ရတယ် Juniper ဆိုလည်း the same ပဲအဲ့တော့ SNMP components ထဲမှာနောက်တစ်ခါကျ manage device ဆိုတာကျတော့ဒီ agent ဒီအဲ့ manage device ထဲမှာရှိတယ်အဲ့ဒီကတော့ control by the agent ကနေ device လို့ရတယ်သူရဲ့ SNMP information source တွေဒီသူတို့ဒီ device ကို manager လုပ်တဲ့ manage လုပ်ချင်တဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်မလို့ဒီ information တွေအကုန်လုံးရဲ့ source ကဒီ agent device ဒီမှာရှိတယ်နောက်တစ်ခုကကျတော့ SNMP protocol comments ဒီဟာကအရေးကြီးရပေါ့နော် SNMP protocol comment ဆိုရင် get ဆိုရင်ဘာဖြစ်လို့ဘာလို့ကျင်တာလဲဆိုတော့ तू က get message is sent by a manager to an agent request to the value of the specific OID လှမ်းပြီးတော့မှ manager ကနေမှငါမင်း value ဒီ value ကိုလိုချင်တယ်ဆိုပြီးတော့မှလှမ်းတောင်းတာ read လုပ်ဖို့အတွက်တောင်းတာဒါဆိုရင် get ဒီ read အတွက်ပေါ့နော်ဒီလှမ်းပြီးတော့မှ information read လုပ်ဖို့အတွက်တောင်းတာပြီးတော့ get next ကကြတော့ okay အဲ့ဒီဟာပြီးရင်နောက်ထပ် sequential object MIB တဲ့နောက်ထပ် information next ကိုလိုချင်တယ်ဆိုရင် get next အဲ့မှာ get back ကကြတဲ့အခါကျတော့ SNMP version 3ကြမှာပါ version 1မှာမပါဘူးသူကကျတော့အစုလိုက်ကိုမှဟို multiple group ကိုတောင်းချင်တယ်လှမ်းပြီး request လုပ်ချင်တယ် multiple get next request တွေတောင်းချင်တယ်ဆိုရင်တခါတည်းတစ်ပြိုင်တည်း back ဆိုတာအစုလိုက်တောင်းချင်တယ်ဆိုရင် get back အဲ့ get ရယ် get next ရယ် get back ရယ်ကကျတော့ဘယ်သူကနေပို့တာလဲဆိုတော့ manager ကနေမှ agent ကိုပို့တဲ့ဟာတွေ agent device ကိုလှမ်းပြီးတော့မှ agent ကိုသွားပြီးတော့မှ information တောင်းတဲ့ဟာအဲ့ဒါက get အပြည့်ကျတော့ set ကကျတော့ဘယ်သူကဆိုတော့ sent by a manager to an agent in order to change the value of the ဒါပါတော့တို့တွေကဝင်ပြီးတော့မှ IP change နေ host name change နေ configuration change နေဒါဒီ right permission အတွက် right လုပ်ချင်တာ right လုပ်ချင်တာဒီလှမ်းပြီးတော့မှဒီ router ကိုလှမ်းလုပ်ချင်တယ်ဆိုရင် set message ကိုသုံးတယ် response ကကြတဲ့အခါကျတော့ message ကဒါကကျတော့ response ဒီဘယ်သူကပို့တာလဲဆိုတော့အဲ့မှာဒါကကျတော့ agent ကနေပို့တာ response က agent ကနေမှပို့တာဒီ get ရယ် get next ရယ်set ရယ်ကကျတော့ manager ကနေပို့တာ तू က manager တောင်းတဲ့ဟာကို device ကလှမ်းပြီးတော့မှ agent က response ပြန်လုပ်လိုက်တဲ့အခါမှာအဲ့ဒီ message ကိုကျတော့ response လို့ခေါ်တယ် traps ကကြတဲ့အခါကျတော့ manager ကနေမှစီကို agent ကနေမှပို့လိုက်တဲ့အခါကျတခုခု interface down သွားတယ်တခုဟို issue ဖြစ်တယ် fault ဖြစ်တယ်ဆိုရင် alert လှမ်းပေးပြီးမှ trap လုပ်ပြီးမှ notification ပို့လိုက်တဲ့ဟာကိုကျတော့ trap လို့ခေါ်တယ်အဲ့ဒါက trap ပြီးတဲ့အခါကျတော့ inform ကကျတော့ manager ကနေမှ inform message ပို့လိုက်ပြီးတော့မှ agency ကိုပို့လိုက်တယ် acknowledgement အနေနဲ့ဒါဒီ manager ကနေမှပို့လိုက်တဲ့ message ကိုကျတော့ inform လို့ခေါ်တယ်ဒါဆို SNMP message တွေမှာ get ရယ် get next ရယ် set ရယ် get bug ရယ် response ရယ် trap ရယ် inform ရယ်ဆိုပြီးတော့မှအဲ့ message တွေရှိတယ်ဒီမှာ demonstration အနေနဲ့လုပ်ပြရဆိုရင် get request network management station ရှိတယ်ဒီမှာက MIB ရှိတယ်ဒီမှာ get request ဆိုပြီးမှလှမ်းပြီး request တောင်းတယ်ဆိုရင် agent ကနေမှလှမ်းပြီးမှဒီမှာ response ပြန်လိုက်တယ် get next ကကျတော့နောက်ထပ်ဟာတစ်ခုကိုတောင်းတယ် get response ပြန်တယ်အဲ့မှာ agent ကနေမှ trap နဲ့ in trap ဆိုတစ်ခုခုဆိုရင်သူတစ်ခုဖြစ်တယ်ဆိုရင်သူက trap message နဲ့ inform message ပို့ပေးတယ် trap ကကျတော့ notification လောက်တာ inform message ဆိုရင်တော့သူ response ပြန်တယ် trap message ကတော့သူ response ပြန်လိုက်ပြန်မလို့ unsolicited message အနေနဲ့ရှိတယ်အဲ့မှာတခု error မှာတခုဒီမှာ interface down နေဆိုရင် down တဲ့အကြောင်းကိုမှသူစီကိုလှမ်းပြောတယ်အဲ့ဒါသူ့ရဲ့ပုံစံဒီမှာ SNMP version version မှာဆိုရင် SNMP version 1ရယ် SNMP version 2ရယ် SNMP version 3ရယ်ဆိုပြီးရှိတယ် SNMP version 1ကကျတော့ RFC 1157မှာသွားဖတ်လို့ရတယ်သူနဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ detail ပေါက်ကြောင်းပါတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ SNMP version 1ဒီ security အရာဆိုရင်သူဒီအရင် security အရာလဲ weak ဖြစ်တယ်အားနည်းချက်တွေရှိတယ်သူမှာ NMS နဲ့ agent ကြားထဲမှာ security အနေနဲ့တနည်းအားဖြင့်ပြောရင် authentication သဘောမျိုးနဲ့သုံးကျင်တယ်ဆိုရင်သူကဘာနဲ့သုံးလဲဆိုရင် community string ဆိုတာသုံးတယ်ဒီ NMS မှာရှိတဲ့ community string နဲ့ agent မှာရှိတဲ့ community string ဒီ the same ဖြစ်ရမယ် case sensitive ဖြစ်တယ်အတူတူထားရမယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ကိုက wireshark နဲ့ကိုဖမ်းကြည့်လိုက်အဲ့ဒီကဟာဒီတိုင်းအထင်းတိုင်းမြင်ရတယ် clear text အနေနဲ့ဟိုမှာစာသားအတိုင်းမြင်ရတယ်အဲ့ဒါကကျတော့ secure မဖြစ်ဘူး SNMP version 2မှာတော့သူကထပ်ပြီးတော့မှ SNMP version 1က 32-bit counter နဲ့သွားတယ် 32-bit counter ဆိုတာကျတော့ statistics တစ်ခုကို collect လုပ်ချင်တယ်ဆိုရင် 2 power 32နဲ့ဟိုမှာ count လုပ်တယ်တကယ်လို့ 2 power 32တဲ့ကျော်သွားတဲ့ information လုပ်တယ်ဆိုရင်သူဒီ overflow ဖြစ်ပြီးတဲ့အခါကျတော့အစကနေ reset ပြန်ပြီးလုပ်ရတယ်အဲ့ခါကျတော့ performance က version 1လောက်မကောင်းဘူး SNMP version 2မှာ improve လုပ်လာတာကျတော့ဘာလဲဆိုတော့ 2 power 64ကinformation တွေ statistics တွေအများကြီး collect တဲ့မှာ2 power 64 time ဟိုမှာ count လုပ်ပြီးမှ collect လုပ်လို့ရတယ်အဲ့ခါကျတော့ကိုက counting လုပ်တဲ့အခါကျတော့ဟိုပို့ပြီးတော့မှ performance ပိုကောင်းလာတယ်ပြီးတော့ refer to as ဒါပေမဲ့ community string ကိုကျတော့ authentication နဲ့သုံးတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ version 1က version 2မှာကျတော့ဘာ encryption မှမပါသေးဘူးဘာ encryption မှမပါသေးဘူးဒါပေမဲ့အခုနောက်ပိုင်း latest အနေနဲ့ recommended to use ကဘာလဲဆိုတော့ SNMP version 3 the current version အဲ့မှာဆိုရင် SNMP device တွေအကုန်လုံးကMD authentication address ဆိုရင် MD5 ကိုသုံးတယ် SHA ကိုသုံးတယ် encryption address ဆိုရင် DES သုံးတယ် 3DES သုံးတယ် AES သုံးတယ်မြင်ရတယ်နော် screen ကိုအဲ့တော့ SNMP community အနေနဲ့ဆိုရင် version 1နဲ့ version 2တွေ version 2မှာ communities ကကြတော့ managers နဲ့ agents ကြားထဲမှာ okay ငါ information ပေးမယ်ဆိုရင်မင်းနဲ့ငါနဲ့ community string တူလား community string တူပြီဆိုမှမင်းနဲ့ငါနဲ့ session ချိန်မယ်ဆိုပြီးတော့မှလှမ်းပြောတာအဲ့ဒါကကြတော့ trust use communities to establish trust between managers and agents အဲ့မှာ agent မှာ device မှာတို့တွေ configuration လုပ်ပေးရတယ်လုပ်တဲ့အချိန်မှာ permission လုပ်ပေးရတယ် permission လုပ်ပေးတဲ့အချိန်မှာ configure လုပ်တဲ့အချိန်မှာ read only လား read only ဆိုရင်တန်တဲ့ device တွေမှာဟို microtik တို့ဘာတို့မှာလည်းတက်တက်ရှိမယ် Cisco မှာဆိုတော့ read only ဆိုရင် RO နဲ့ပြတယ်ဟောဆိုရင် RW SNMP send notification ဆိုပြီးတော့ဒါမပြင်မှာ trap တခုခုဆိုရင် alert ပေးလို့ရတဲ့ဟာမျိုးဆိုရင်အဲ့ပြတယ် community string ကတနည်းအားဖြင့်ပြောရင်ကျွန်တော်တို့ရဲ့ server နဲ့ agent ကြားထဲက password ပဲ typically ပုံမှန်အတိုင်းဆိုရင်တော့ read only ပဲ monitor လုပ်ဖို့အတွက်ဆို read only ကိုက write permission နဲ့ set information set message လုပ်ချင်တယ်ဆိုရင်တော့တို့ဘာလုပ်ဖို့လို့ဆို read write လုပ်ပေးဖို့လိုတယ်အဲ့မှာဆိုရင် ensure confidentiality and authentication ဆိုရင်ဒီမှာ authentication SNMP version 3 security levels သူ့မှာ authentication ရှိတယ် encryption ရှိတယ် no auth no privacy PRIV ဆိုတာ privacy ဆိုရင်အဲ့ဒီ level ထားရဆိုရင်တော့သူဒီဘာမှမထူးဘူး authentication လည်းမရှိဘူး encryption လည်းမရှိဘူး user name ရှိတယ် password မရှိဘူးauth no private authentication ရှိတယ် encryption မရှိဘူး authentication ရှိတယ် no encryption user name လည်းရှိတယ် password လည်းရှိတယ် auth private or authentication လည်းရှိတယ် privacy လည်းရှိတော့ authentication လည်းရှိတယ် privacy address ဆိုရင်ဒီ data ကို encrypt လုပ်ရတယ်လေ encryption လည်းရှိတယ် user name ရှိတယ် password ရှိတယ်ဒါသူရဲ့ SNMP version 3ရဲ့ security level ကိုပြောထားတာဒီဟာကြတဲ့အခါကျတော့ SNMP wireshark နဲ့ packet structure packet capture လုပ်ထားတာလေးကိုဒီမှာ sample ပြတာဒီမှာ server စီမှာဒီ command လေး run လိုက်တယ်ဒီဟာကSNMP walk ဆိုတဲ့ command လေး run လိုက်တယ် -v2c community 192.168.99.252 252နဲ့ run လိုက်တဲ့အချိန်မှာဒီမှာဆိုရင်ဒီ version ဒီ SNMP ဒီပါလဲဆိုတဲ့အခါကျတော့ SNMP version 2ဒီဟာက ဘာကိုသုံးလဲဆိုတော့ SNMP destination port ဒီ UDP port 161ကိုသုံးတယ်ဒီ community string ကဒီမှာတွေ့လားလုံးဝသူတို့ဟာကြီးကို hack လုပ်လို့ရတယ်ဘာဖြစ်လို့သူက clear text နဲ့ကို SNMP version 2က clear text နဲ့ Amma Bangladesh ဆိုတဲ့ဟာကိုပြတယ်ဒီမှာကြတဲ့အခါကျတော့ get next request ဆိုပြီးသူကဒီဟာတောင်းတယ် get response ဆိုပြီးသူပေးလိုက်တဲ့ information တွေOID information တွေကိုဒီမှာတွေ့ရမယ်ဒါကသူ့ရဲ့ information okay အဲ့ဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီမှာ tea break စမယ်ပေါ့နော် tea break စမယ်ဆိုတော့ခဏလေးဒီ configuration လေးတစ်ချက်လောက်ပြောလိုက်မယ်နော်ဒီမှာက SNMP version 1နဲ့ version 2နဲ့ဆိုရင်ဒီမှာဒါက Cisco မှာလုံးတဲ့ configuration access list ဘယ် server ဘယ်သူ့ကိုပဲခွင့်ပြုပါမယ်ဆိုတဲ့ဟာမျိုးဒီဟာထည့်ပြရတယ် access list 66ဒါ standard access list အနေနဲ့ဟိုမှာ ACL တစ်ခု create လုပ်မယ်ပြီးရဲ့အခါကျတော့သူ့ရဲ့ community ဒီ community string ကိုလုပ်ပေးမယ်သူ့ရဲ့ permission က rewrite ဒီမှာကြတဲ့အခါကျတော့ SNMP read only ဆိုရင်ဒီမှာ RO နဲ့ပြတယ်အဲ့မှာဒီ66ကကျတော့ဒီ rewrite လုပ်တာဒီဘယ်သူ့ကိုပဲ allow လုပ်မှာလဲဆိုတော့ဒီ access list နဲ့ match criteria ဖြစ်မှာလုပ်မယ်ဒီမှာဆိုလဲဒီ access list နဲ့ match ဖြစ်မှာလုပ်မယ်ဒါကကြတော့လဲ SNMP version 3နဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့မှဒီမှာ authentication နဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့မှ create လုပ်ထားတယ်အမှ view APNIC ဒါသူ့ရဲ့ password ဒါမှ group ကကျတော့ group APNIC privacy က read အနေနဲ့ထားတယ်ဒါက sample configuration ကိုပြထားတာအဲ့ဆိုတော့ liberal နဲ့ပတ်သက်တာကြတဲ့အခါကျတော့ကျမတို့နောက်ပိုင်း session မှာ lab လုပ်မယ် lab လုပ်တဲ့အချိန်မှာအဝါဆက်ပြီးတော့မှ liberal NMS နဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့မှ lab မှာဆက်ပြီးတော့မှရှင်းပြလိုက်မယ်အဲ့ဆိုတော့ any questions
မေကိုမေးကြရှိလားမသိဒီ break စလိုက်မယ်အဲ့ဒီ
ဟုတ်လက်ခံခိုင်းတော့နော်ဟုတ်ကဲ့ကျွန်တော်ဒုတိယ session ကိုပြန်စလို့ရပြီเนาะအမဟုတ်
session စလို့ရပြီလားလူဆုံးပြီလား
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ဒီဘက်ကတော့ပြန်ဆုံးပြီခင်ဗျာဟုတ်ကဲ့
okay hello Awa
Yes.
yes they said we can start again everyone is there already
Okay. Thank you and welcome back. I hope you had a good break and had enough coffee, tea, and snacks. So can you go to this website again? Our academy website. Everybody, let's go to this page one more time. And in session 2, let me make it a little bit bigger for you. In session 2, you can see the exercise, SNMP and Libra NMS Lab. So click there. If you click there, you should see, so if you are not logged in, try to log in using your APNIC member, your academy account, my APNIC, APNIC Academy, APNIC Academy account that you have created in the morning or maybe long ago. It's okay, just log in. If you log in, then you can see launch lab for the network management and monitoring, this one, the SNMP Libra NMS lab, okay? If you have problem to get this lab, just let me know, I'll guide you, okay? So make sure you have logged in using your APNIC Academy account.
virtual lab ကိုဆောင်းနာတော့စောက်ထားတဲ့ account နဲ့ဟိုမှာ virtual lab ကိုဝင်ပြီးရဲ့အခါကျတော့အခုဒီ network management monitoring SNMP lab ကို launch လုပ်ပေးပါနော်
Please launch the lab if you have already logged in as a APNIC user, and then you see that this lab has this launch lab tab, the blue color tab, launch lab. So click on that and you will see that there is a warning and it says, do you want to launch? Yes. And then remember, you may have a pop-up blocker on the browser. So you have to enable the pop-up, okay? And then this window will pop up. Share that window. I hope you can see this pop-up window. You need to enable pop-up on your browser. Your browser should have a warning if it doesn't have pop-up enabled. Okay. I'll wait for Ms. Kind's confirmation if the participants are all good with the launching the lab. If they have problems, maybe we'll wait.
Please wait, bro. Or they assessing now.
Oh, okay, okay. If you are in a group, like 2-3 people can follow together, so maybe 2 or 3 of you can be together. It's okay.
Now that.
Yeah, if you don't want to do the lab by yourself, just follow your neighbor's screen. I think there are many participants. So also what you can do is when you launch the lab, you can select the data center here as well. Just in case all of you are in the same data center, that can create like a heavy load on the data center. So when you go, when you are starting the lab, you can select the data center from here, but it's not mandatory. If you can successfully launch it, then it will look like something like this on the screen that I'm sharing now. It will look like this. So it will have instructions on the right side and the lab environment on the left side.
Well, let me tell about the data center selection in local language.
Oh, okay, yeah. So let me share this.
တကယ်လို့လေ participants တွေအများများနေလို့လေနှေးနေတယ်ဆိုရင်လေ data center selection ဆိုပြီးတော့မှရွေးလို့ရတယ်တကယ်လို့အကုန်လုံးက data center တစ်ခုတည်းကိုရွေးရင် heavy load ဖြစ်နေမှာကြောက်လို့အဲ့မှာ different data center နဲ့ကိုကြိုက်တဲ့ data center selection ဆိုတာလေးကိုရွေးပေးလို့ရတယ်တကယ်လို့နှေးနေတယ်ဆိုရင် Yes, I suggested to select the data center if there is a heavy load.
Yes. So what you can do, like Fio mentioned, you can just click here and then you see there is a data center options. Usually from Myanmar, all of you are going to be in the Singapore data center because this is your closest data center. But because in the whole classroom, if all of you go to Singapore data center, that might put heavy load on Singapore data center. So what you can do is the middle row can select North America, the left row can select Europe, and the right row can select Singapore. This way you can distribute the load, okay? If you have already launched the lab, no need to change it. No need to change it. If you haven't done yet, middle row can select North America. The left row can select Europe, and the right side participants can select Singapore. It's not mandatory, just to save resources, distribute resources like load balancing, something like this. But anyway, let's start the lab, okay? Launch lab, yes, and then you will see there is a pop-up. Sometimes your browser has pop-up blocker, but please enable the pop-up for Academy website. Then you will see that the lab is running with this new pop-up window like this that I'm showing now, okay? Now, sorry, where is it? I think this one, yeah. So my lab is now running. I hope your lab is also something like this. If you cannot do it now, let's not waste time. Please follow your neighbors, like somebody who sits beside you. Just follow together, okay? Follow together, because we don't have enough time as well. Okay, so let me explain the environment a little bit, okay? So as you can see, this environment that we have, it has right side with the instructions and left side with the environment where there is a Linux VM, okay? Now, if you click on these resources, you'll see there is a Ubuntu VM, and the title here is Ubuntu VM. So that means if you click here, you will see 3 routers and 1 VM. The same thing as you can see here. In this window, you can see the username and password as well to log in, okay? No need at the moment. With the Zoom, you can simply scroll to make it larger or smaller. We don't need this at the moment. It's like the default is fine. But at the top, you can see the timing. The lab is for 3 hours. So you need to finish the lab in 3 hours. But if you cannot, you have to go. What you can do is you can click on the menu icon and save the lab for later use, okay? So it will be saved, including the time as well. So if you spend 1 hour already, it will save the same state. And then when you go back home, if you want to relaunch the lab, it will start from the 1 hour that you left. So it will just be like that. So it's like a snapshot, okay? Okay, let's instead of spending timing, let's go to the instructions. And here is the lab, as you can see, but we'll follow only the first and second step. We are not going to go with the other steps because it's a big lab. You can spend more time later, but today I'm going to only show you, because we don't have time, we'll show you LibreNMS, and the step 1 will be SNMP, okay? The lab topology, as you can see here in the physical topology, is like that. So there is a NMS server on the right side, and there are 3 routers, and they have their management connectivity with the with the server, and we'll install the LibreNMS on the server and the SNMP in both the routers and also the servers. Okay, now these are the IP information in detail, but let's just go to next on the bottom right corner, next. So this is part 1, which means we'll install SNMP. Okay, So first on the left side, open the terminal window. This is the terminal window, okay? And if you come on the right side, these instructions, if there is a T icon, T, if you click on the T, then this will be copied and pasted on the right side, left side, okay? So as you can see, if I clicked on the T, the SSH username and password. So that means I'm gonna SSH to the server with the IP. The server has the IP 192.168.30.10, and I'm gonna be user APNI. And now click enter. It's asking for accepting the fingerprint of the server, as we always see for this SSH. As you can see on the right side, there is a yes with the T, or you can type here like I'm typing YES and then enter. And then it's asking for password. As you can see, the password is training. So I'm clicking on the T icon. The password is already pasted. I'm hitting enter. And now I'm in the group server, or this is the server for our NMS system, okay? Please make sure all of you are in the group server. If anybody fails to SSH, just let me know, or follow your neighbor's computer if you are facing problems, because I need to move forward with the configuration, but I hope all of you could log in, okay? Now let's go to the second step. So this one is done. I'm checking on this box because this is done. Now, first thing with any new VM or any new server, what we do is we finish our updating the repo, right? So let's update the repo with this. This is an Ubuntu VM. So we'll use sudo apt update or apt-get update. So hit enter. It's going to ask for password. I'm clicking. You can type training. I'm not typing. I'm just clicking on this T icon because it's going to paste the training on the left side. Hit enter. And now it's going to start updating the repos. And it will not take long time, okay? Okay, so package update is done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to install some packages and some dependencies of SNMP, okay? Remember, this server will be SNMP manager and also SNMP agent. So because we'll have routers as well, the SNMP server will be this server, and the routers are going to be the agent, okay? But this server itself will be its own agent because I want to monitor this server as well. So I'm configuring SNMP daemon, which is for the agent, and SNMP for the server, okay? Because this server will be both agent and the manager. So let's click on the T icon and check the command. Sometimes if you click on the T icon, there could be mistake in terms of, typos. So don't always rely on the T icon, okay? Once you paste it on the right side, left side, please remember to check the command. So sudo apt-get install -y. I'm going to install nano, snmpd, snmp, snmp MIPS library or downloaders for the SNMP MIB, okay? So hit enter. Now it's going to install those packages in maybe in a couple of seconds. Okay, question for you in the room. Can you see my screen properly? Do I need to make it a little bit bigger? Or this is fine? Okay, can you see my screen properly? Not so sure. Can you raise your hand if you see my screen properly? Oh, seems okay. Okay, good. Okay. Okay, so now because I finished this one, installing this one, let's enable the MIBs. By default, if you go to this file, the snmp.conf, you will see that MIBs are empty. That means it doesn't allow to download any MIBs. So we need to comment it out. And as you can see in the second command, in the third command, I'm going to comment the MIBs out. So first, what you can do is let's first read, okay? At etc snmp snmp.conf. As you can see here, the MIBs are empty. And it is saying that the SNMP package without MIBs file means there are license issues. That's why it cannot download the MIBs file. But if we want to do it, we can do it by commenting out this command. So by commenting out the following line. So we are gonna comment it out, and it can be easily done with the lines. But what we can do is first let's copy like this. Okay, select the whole area. Remember, I can click on the T. Okay, I can click on the T. If I click on the T, you can see that all the three commands has been executed, and if I hit enter, it's going to be okay. But sometimes in this environment, if you copy a lot of things, there will be typos. So to avoid the typos, what we can do is we can copy like this, selecting the whole line, and then right click and then copy. And at the top left corner, there is a battery or power icon. If you click on the power icon, there is type text option. And then if you select the last option, which is type clipboard text, there is a window where you can paste Control V or Command V to paste it, okay? And then if you hit OK, that's going to be also pasted. So this time I'm not going to hitting OK because I already executed this command, right? But I'll use it later. Now let's go and check with this next step, just to check. This time I have my SNMP daemon configuration, and as you can see, my location is empty. The location is not set because this is the default settings. So press Q as mentioned here. Look, press Q to get out of this output. So I'm gonna pressing Q, and I'm now out of this config file. Now I need to edit those information, right? First information that I want to edit here, as you can see, that I need to change the address to make it open for all the users, or sorry, for all the hosts to talk to this device. So if I copy, let's copy this whole lines here, and then right click, copy, go to the battery or power icon, and then type text and select the last option and paste it here. As you can see, I am actually changing the value of only localhost, as you can see here, only localhost, into everybody whoever talks over UDP 161, and in IPv6 also 161. Now if I click OK, look, all the lines are pasted on the screen. So there are two ways to paste the commands. If there is a T icon, click on the T icon. But if there are a lot of the commands, sometimes if you click T icons, there will be typo. Instead of clicking T icon, you can just select everything and then right click, copy, and then paste it on that text clipboard, okay? Now, if I hit enter, as you can see, I have now the agent address. There is no fixed address. I'm just using UDP 161. That means all the IP addresses and interfaces of this server will listen to port 161. This is just for simplicity, okay? Just for simplicity. Now let's go to the next step, okay? This step is to add a community called training. So our SNMP community will be training, and I want anybody with this management IP subnet, if they can give me SNMP community training, then I'll accept it and I'll talk to them. That's the security ACL or access control list. I will not talk to anybody who doesn't talk to me with this IP subnet. So my management IP is 192.168.0.0/16. Anybody in this management network coming with a community of training, I'm going to talk to them. Otherwise, I'm not going to talk to them, okay? So there has to be two things matched. One is the IP and the community. So let's copy this. Just click on the T icon because this is just one line. But remember to check the command. So this command is going to be added in the config file. And as you can see, it has been added in the config file, okay, like this. Now, we will change the location and contact information. As you can see, the next step, these are optional, but still I would like to show you how you can do that. So there is one information called location. We'll set it to Brisbane. And there is a one sys contact or contact information. We'll put it as training@apnic.net. But this is a SED. SED is a Linux tool to replace something that you want to replace with a new one. So this time we would like to replace the sys location to Brisbane and the contact with the training@apnic.net. So that's why I'm using sed. The other way to edit is to go to that file like this. So sudo nano etc snmpd and then snmp.conf. Okay, sorry, it should be snmp, not snmpd. snmp.conf. If you go there, you will see that. Oh, sorry. It's not snmp.conf, it's snmpdaemon.conf. So if you go to this file, you see that the sys location and sys contact, they are currently not set, okay? But what we just did is we actually changed this line, like UDP 161, we just changed this line. And we have added a last line. If you go to the last line, this line has been added, as you can see. We just recently added. So what I can do is I can actually change from here. I hope you all know how to edit a Linux file, right? The Linux file is you need an editor like the VI editor or Vim editor or Nano editor, something like this. But if I exit out of this file, I can use sed without reading the file. I can simply just copy and paste it. So let me do it in a simple way. So I'm copy, and then let me paste it here in the clipboard. That means it's gonna now access this file, the snmpd, this file, and then we'll replace it with this contact information and the location. So hit enter. Okay, I think somebody has a question. Can you ask the question? Yeah. Somebody raised their hand, like Min Tun.
Raise လက်ထောင်ထားတဲ့တယောက်ရှိတယ်အမဗာမေးစရာရှိလဲမသိဘူးเนาะ
Okay, anyway, if there is no question, let's move ahead. Now, if you go to the command, this to read the changes that we have just made, you can click here and enter. As you can see, this time the location and the contact information just got updated. Okay. So anyway, press Q to exit out. So these are optional steps. Now let's restart. So stop and start the SNMP daemon. Okay. So first I'm stopping and then checking this status. It's saying that it's inactive currently. Now let's click on the start. Sorry. Now let's click on the if you want to get exit out, press Q to exit out and then start it. And if you check the status again, it's now active and running. Okay. Press Q to exit out. So my SNMP daemon is running. That means my agent is running, and I can now check with these commands. As you can see, port 161 is listened by any interface, and IPv6 is in IPv6 also port 161 is open. That means my SNMP daemon is now ready to talk. Now I'm gonna do a test. I'm gonna use SNMP version 2C. Remember, Theo was talking about some SNMP version. Okay, version 2 supports community. So I'm gonna do SNMP walk. SNMP walk means I'm gonna request one item. The agent is gonna reply one, and then I'm gonna ask next one. It's gonna give me next one, and so on and so forth. I'll continue till the end of the tree. Okay, so I'm gonna walk on the tree, and then I'm gonna use version 2C, and I'll use a community. So -C is the option for community, and my community is training, and I'm gonna ask the server's IP is 10. So I'm gonna ask itself to talk to me with SNMP community. So if and the less means I don't want to complete the whole walking. I'll just see the first couple of lines. Okay, let's hit enter. As you can see, it's giving me so many outputs, different types of OIDs has different values. Okay, now that means it's working. Let's press Q to exit out of this stage. Q means quit. So I exit out. That means my SNMP is working. And now I can check some of the commands, like this one is about system information. Okay, so this command, let's put this command system, and I can see so many different system parameters are coming, right? If I want to see the sys uptime is to see system uptime. That means how long my system is running, since when it's running. Okay, so click this one, hit enter. It's showing me an uptime of 2 minutes and 32 seconds, something like this. So if I use the command again, as you can see, its time is changing, because I'm requesting the uptime every single time is going to give me the latest uptime. Okay, now the last one is about the uptime information, but with a OID of 0. So it's going to give me similar information, right? The uptime. Now let's configure our router. For this lab, to save time, we'll configure only one router because we don't have enough time to do that. Okay, so only router 1. We'll configure only router 1, and it's a Cisco router. So if you go and click here iOS R1, you can go to router 1. If you go to resources and click on the iOS router 1, you can go to router 1 as well. If you click on the left side top ribbon, if you click here and select router 1, you can again go to router 1. So there are 3 ways to go to a device. Okay, so let's go to the instructions, and I'll click on this link here, and the left window is going to be changed. And now I am click enter. This enter means I'm in router 1. Okay, now I'm going to use the username and click on the T. The username is APNIC. Click on the password T. The password is training. Click on the enable. It's going to go to the enable mode. The password is lab config. So this way you get R1 hash. R1 hash means you are in the privileged mode, okay? Make sure you are in the R1, and whoever works with Cisco already, you know how Cisco router works. And now I'm gonna configure the interface IP addresses. As you can see, the interface IP address configuration is here. Enable, configure terminal, interface gigabit 1, description, and all the three interfaces will be configured. So I'll click the T, and all the configuration will be pasted on the right side, left side, and then hit enter. That means your configuration is done, okay? Now, this second part here is saying that to configure SNMP, and to configure SNMP, first I'm configuring an access control list. I'm saying that I'm not gonna talk to everybody. I'll only talk to the IP addresses of this subnet. The same thing that I did for my server. And then I'll say that the community is training, and that's a read-only community. And only if access list number 99 is true, then only I'll check it. Otherwise, I'll just reject it, okay? So let's configure this one again. And this one is also done and saved. Saved with a WR command, means write memory, okay? Write memory. So, and just quickly check our ping command. If this ping command works, then that's it, okay? Yeah, my ping is working. So I'm not gonna follow any other instructions at the moment. Let's go and check the SNMP query to the server, to the router this time. The router's IP is 1, okay? So let's go to the Ubuntu VM on more time. No need to configure this bridge, Linux bridge, okay? No need to configure these bridges, because that's a warning sign where it says if you fail to ping, if your ping does not work, then you can do that. I'm not gonna do it. My ping is working, so I don't need to do anything. So let's go to the Ubuntu VM. Remember, just before this step, I was checking myself and it was working. If my router is configured properly, my router should also respond to SNMP, right? So let's click here. And this time I'm going to not 10, but .1. .1 is my router. So click, and this time my router is sending me updates or SNMP responses. That means my SNMP server can talk to the SNMP client, okay? There are a couple of other tests you can do, but let's do it later when you go back home. But just to save time, let's go next, okay? This time we'll install the Libra NMS. The first thing, let's go back. Okay, Libra NMS, okay? The first thing we are gonna do is we'll update the packages again one more time. Click here. This time I'm installing a couple of packages like the software properties, and then ACL and Git, and a couple of transport protocol, let's say HTTPS, okay? So hit enter. It will take some time to install those packages. First, it's updating the repo, and now it's gonna check the install the packages. Now let's go and add a repo called Universe. It's very common issue when you have a new VM in Ubuntu and you want to add some personal archive of packages, or called PPA, personal package archive. Then you need to include some of the repos like Universe, okay? So I'm adding this repo. And this is not related to Libra NMS because we need the PHP older version. And that's why we have to add this PPA for Andres. Andres is the author of PHP. So we have to add this personal package archive for downloading an older PHP version, because and then it's asking me to hit enter or press enter to add it. I press enter, so it's going to be added soon. Because for LibreNMS, we need PHP 8.1. So let's go. So first, let's download the script for MariaDB setup. And this is here in this URL, in the MariaDB's URL, and there's a script here. So we'll wget to download them, and also we'll download its SHA-256 signature, okay? Just to verify the package is okay. Some of you may find problem when you paste it because these are very long lines. Sometimes there are typos. If there are typos, you will not be able to download both files. So let's see LL or long list. And I can see that I have a setup file and I have a SHA file. Just check it. If you don't see them, that means there are some typos. So in those cases, rerun the same command again. If there are typos, those will be eliminated. Now let's check. Let's check whether my signatures are okay or not. Let's use the SHA-256 check, and it says okay. That means my software is not altered or not changed. Okay. Now make this script executable. So now from now onwards, I'm not gonna copy from the T icon because it's sometimes gonna give me trouble. Let's copy this and use this power icon to type text in the clipboard and check the config, the commands. It seems good to me. And this is MariaDB 10.5 that I'm gonna use. I'm concerned about the time. I think the time for the lunch break is already started. Miss Kine, how long we can continue? Like another 10 minutes, is it okay?
Yes, okay.
Okay,
Break time will be 12:15.
12:15.
If we have time, yes.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you. That means I have about 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, you have.
How about the quiz? When are you gonna run the quiz?
Yes, we have quiz session.
So maybe 10 minutes for quiz and 20 minutes for the lab, okay?
Yes.
Yes,
I'll take about 10 minutes.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. So yes, so this step is done. And from now on, like I said, I'm not gonna follow the T icon anymore because this is like, can you see this? So many packages I need to install now. If I click on T, there will be typos because so many imports needs to be copied from right side to the left side, and there will be some typos. So instead of doing that, let's copy like this, Control-C, and let's go to the text clipboard again. And I can see everything is pasted nicely. No typos seems to be here. Then okay. And as you can see, it's going to start with this, okay? Now hit enter. Okay, all the packages, and just check if there is any error, okay? There shouldn't be any error, but sometimes because of the typos, there might be error. So let's see. So while the packages are getting installed, let me tell you what are the packages. So as you can see, I'm installing curl, and then Apache 2 is required because the LibreNMS will have a web interface. So Apache will be the web server. Then some tools like FastPing, Git, GraphViz, and ImageGeek. These are like some of the dependent softwares that will be needed. But the most important is these Apache libraries, the PHP, MariaDB client and server, PHP CLI, PHP curl, PHP graphical interface, PHP MB string, and PHP MySQL, PHP SNMP, PHP ECMA, all the PHP libraries and dependencies are very important. Without that, the installation will not be successful. And also the Python Memcache, Python MySQLD, and and Python pip. So for your information, we are using my PHP 8.1 and Python 3. Now the installation is successful without any error. So that's good for me, and please make sure you also have similar output. Okay, now let's go to the next step. So these are all important steps. This one is a smaller command. So let's click on the T icon and make sure the commands are all okay. Yes. Now so what I'm doing with this command is I'm creating a new user called LibreNMS. LibreNMS is a system user, and I'm going to give this user all the permission to make changes and configure the LibreNMS. So this is a system user, okay? That's a system user, and that's why the -r at the last part of the command means it's a system user, okay? And then it has a directory or home directory opt LibreNMS. And in the second line, I'm going to say that add this user LibreNMS to the group www-data. So that's the Apache's group or the web server group. So I'm going to adding LibreNMS in that group so that it can access the web or Apache configs. Okay. Now in the second in this line, I'm going to go to the opt directory and download the Git. From the Git repo, download the LibreNMS configs. Okay, so click here, hit enter, because it's gonna now download the full package from Git repo. It's gonna take some time. So hold on for some time. It is about maybe about 250 mega of data, I think. Or maybe close to 300 mega. Let's see. Usually it doesn't take a long time, but because all of you are now trying to do the lab, you may face some little bits latency. That's okay, but shouldn't take longer time, less than a minute, I think. Yes, so almost done. It's now checking the deltas for for changed items, but there shouldn't be many changes, so should be fine. Yeah, so everything is updated. What I'm gonna do now in this section is I'm gonna give the ownership of this directory opt LibreNMS to the user LibreNMS, okay? Because LibreNMS will be the system user to make changes. And then for the scientific Linux or you know the firewall configs, we use the set fscl for the ACL, right? And I'm saying that for the groups, give read, write, and execution permission for all these directories that I mentioned. That I mentioned here, like everything basically under the opt LibreNMS directory where my LibreNMS configs are. Okay, so because it's too many lines, let's copy and use the technique instead of the T, because there will be typo otherwise. I know I'm going a little bit faster than you, but if I don't do that, I will not be able to show you the whole demo. Okay. So, okay, enter, that means all the comments has been applied without error. But there is an error, as you can see here, the command not found. And that's saying chmod. Okay, I think the first command got, yeah, this command got some error, as you can see. So that's what I'm saying. Sudo change mod has been moved and changed to something else. That's why it doesn't understand the command. Basically, the second line, as you can see, the second line. So I'll just copy the second line, copy it. I can paste it. This just one line, and this time, let's see. Yes, this time it's okay, and this command is now taken. Okay, but otherwise, you see sudo chmo, and then everything is lost. And then the last part got added, and together it becomes something like chmobrem something like this. That's not a good command. Okay. Now what I need to do is I need to pretend to be the LibreNMS user. So I need to switch user. Okay. Let's switch user. Yes. Now I'm the LibreNMS user, and I don't. And as you can see, I don't see the bash kind of the console for it, but I can see it has a working directory with this pwd command. I can easily see it's under this opt LibreNMS directory. What I would like to do is, because I have a script there, what I'd like to do, I'd like to run the script as LibreNMS user. That's why I switch as a LibreNMS user, and now I'd like to hit enter. And now you have to wait for the Libre user to make all the config and installation of dependencies, library files, and the necessary commands and scripts. So you can see the tools are getting downloaded and now installed. And then there are some tools that are very old and abandoned, some warning, but that shouldn't create any problem. Finally, you should see a success of the installation. So yes, successfully installed. I can see there are warnings of deprecated files or paths, but it's totally okay. Since I could install that, now I have to exit out. So I'm exiting out and getting back to my previous console. Okay. Now it's time to configure the MySQL, and then the last part will be configuring the Apache web server, and then I'll access the GUI of the LibreNMS. So these are the steps. So far, we have just installed all the dependencies and applications, and now I have to configure the MariaDB or MySQL. Sorry. Okay, so restart MySQL and then go to MySQL as user root. That is the command it's saying. Okay. Enter. So I'm now in the MySQL database config CLI. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a database called LibreNMS, and then some I'd like to set the UTF and the Unicode CI for the character sets. Okay, so click here and check if the command is okay. It seems okay, so hit enter. Yes, it's taken. Second command is to create the user LibreNMS with the password training. Okay, and this is very common command in MariaDB or MySQL. I hope you all understand how the syntax works in MySQL. So this is just to create user and password and give access to the local host. Okay. Then grant all privileges for this LibreNMS user to that database. Okay. So let's click. So it's gonna give privilege to the LibreNMS database, and the user is gonna be LibreNMS with the password that I mentioned earlier. Training is the password. Now flash privileges, which is very common for a new user when we create and give permission with flash privileges, and then exit out of the MySQL database config area. Now here we need to change some of the configuration files. So we'll use the, we'll say that the file part table will be 1 in MariaDB or MySQL, and then the lowercase table names will just disable it, okay? And this will be done using the sed command. I don't want to go to the etc MySQL MariaDB conf file. Instead, I'll just change it using the sed command. So let's click here. So what I'm saying that I am in the MySQL daemon config sets, and I would like to change my, so now as you can see, 2 commands has been added as per this requirement, okay? Now restart MySQL, there shouldn't be a problem, and I can see the status of MySQL if I want. It's running. So should be fine. So my MySQL part is done. But for PHP, I need to set my time zone. My time zone. What is my system time zone now? If you use this command, it's going to give you a summarized time zone it's UTC. Now let's go and change similar thing. This is the sed command to change the time zone to ETC, UTC. Okay, so if I click here, enter, you see that the time zone has been changed to ETC, UTC for the php.ini file. Okay, for under the Apache 2, but this time I'm going to do the same thing, but for the CLI PHP ini file. Okay, same thing for the second file. And this one also changed to UTC. So now the time zone is async. And now I have to enable Apache 2 module for PHP 8.1. And I have to disable PMP module, and I had to enable PMP fork module. Okay, so click here. One has been disabled and 2 has been enabled. Okay, so it's saying it's already enabled. It has been disabled and it has been enabled. Okay, enabled, disabled, enabled. Fine. Now let's configure LibreNMS GUI. That means the HTML configuration for the LibreNMS. This is a command. This is kind of a script that will configure virtual host on port 80. That means HTTP port for the LibreNMS, and the document root will be this, and my username, my web server's name will be group30server.apnictraining.net, and I'll use this information to log in with my user LibreNMS, and the password is training, right? So, and then finally, when it's created, I'm going to put this file to the sites available Apache 2 directory. Okay, so if I click this, enter, now you will see that this config file is under this directory. Okay, let's go and see if it is there. Okay, Apache 2 sites available. And if I see, you see that this is here. Okay, librenms.conf is already here. And if I read this, I have my configuration. Whatever I mentioned here is here. Now, there is a default configuration that I need to remove. But before that, let's rewrite my config with the recent config. Okay, so this command is going to, okay, so again there is an error. As you can see, this command got typo. Okay, this is not the command. Let's sudo system ctl restart Apache 2. So this should be, this is fine. And now I will remove a default config from this directory, sites enable, and then restart Apache 2 again. So removed and restarted. Perfect. If you have any error, you have to troubleshoot. But since I'm not getting any error, and also I don't have time to troubleshoot, let's continue. Now this time, I'm actually enabling the distribution script so that the SNMP modules can be operated perfectly. Now, because this is a long command, again, let's copy this and put it in this text clipboard so that I can run it safely here. So it's already downloaded, and then I made it executable. Okay, I made it executable, and then I restarted my SNMP daemon. Now copy the LibreNMS cron job, because LibreNMS will check with its GitHub repo for updates. Whenever there is an update, it's gonna check whether there is any update or not. So I have to use this cron job to do that. And then also the scheduler has to be added to the system. So I just use this, added the scheduler. And now let's enable this timer. Enable and start. Yes. Now, with the API to be configured, we can switch to LibreNMS user again and start generating the key. So let's switch and generate key. And it is now kind of a GUI kind of thing, but you have to use your keyboard from no to yes. So use the left arrow, keyboard arrow, and hit enter. So it said it successfully created the key and added it. Okay. Now exit out of this back to your user console. Now, since my Apache configuration is done, my MariaDB database is ready to store data. Let's open the Firefox browser on the left side. Now, you will see the bookmark already done. You will see the LibreNMS bookmark already done. Just click on the bookmark, LibreNMS. Okay, now this time I need a bigger window. Okay, so as you can see, the LibreNMS portal is accessible, but I have to finish some settings. So let me make it bigger so you can see it better. Okay, so you can see that it has checked my PHP is okay, my MySQL is okay, and the graphical part is also done. Let's click on the database. I have to connect the database with the credentials, right? So my password was training. My username is okay. LibreNMS is my username, and my database name is LibreNMS. So check credential. Okay, I don't need to save it, but the credential seems okay. The green tick says that credential is okay. Now I have to build the database. So click build database. It's gonna take you through several processes to build the database. So database is built. Okay. Now click on the key icon to create user. Okay. So this is not a system user, but a local user to access the LibreNMS portal. So you have, if you have multiple colleagues, create their username here to access the portal. Okay, I'm creating APNIC as the user and training as the password, and the email is, let's say, training@apnic.net. Add this user. It's added. Let's click on the finishing task and finish installation, validate installation, and let's log in. Okay, APNIC is the user that I created and training is the password. Log in. So I could log in, but I don't have anything here except my validation data. As you can see, there are some errors and some warnings. I have to fix them, and the fix are mentioned as well. So fix for this error, as you can see, the user error, it's saying that user needs to have access to those directories and places. If you follow, this is also added in our instructions on the right side. As you can see, if you find when validating, if you see that there are some warnings, these are the optional steps to complete. So I'm going to complete this to remove those warnings. Okay, it's not mandatory, but still it doesn't look good. You have errors, right? So let's first give the permission to LibreNMS to all this config file, and then switch to I think there is no validate PHP command anymore in LibreNMS nowadays. So I don't think it's gonna work, but let's see. Yeah, it's working. And there are some fail, and there are some warning. But it's totally fine if there are some warning, it's okay. Warnings are okay. So let's exit. There are a couple of errors still there. So let's fix them with this command. So let's use this one, the second one as well. So these are all like copying some configs and some minor edits to the main config, and also some log, adding some log rotation. And then give permission, and then set FSCL. Remember, we configured this, but let's do this again because we have made some changes and we have created some new new files. So let's give access to LibreNMS for all these configs. Seems okay. So perfectly fine. It's time for us to run the validation again. Let's run the validation again. Okay. If you go to the settings icon at the top, middle somewhere, you see validate config. Click validate config. I hope all the errors are gone. So you can see there are some warning, and there is one final error which is for the updates. But that's fine. We don't need to fix the update because I'm not going to update now. let's go and add a device. So if you go to that top left menu, the second option is device option. So there is a device option, there is no device, right? So at the last part, there is a add icon, plus icon, so add device. Remember, we have two devices configured with SNMP, the server itself and the Cisco router. So I'm gonna first add my server, okay? The server name is group 30. So I'll click here first in the host name box and then click on the T icon. So remember the NET, I have to correct the name. Group 3 server, the R is missing. So this name has to be accurate. Group 30 server, apnictraining.net. I would like to use version 2C. I don't need to mention the port. It's a well-known port 161. The community is training. And then add user, add device. Once I click add device, it's saying that it has been able to add this device, group 30 server.apnictraining.net. You don't necessarily need to use the name. You can use IP as well, but name is better to understand. So that was first device. Can we add one more? Yes, we can. So go and plus icon again. This time I'm not going to use the host name. I'm going to use the IP 192.168.30.1. Remember, 192.168.30.1. Okay, that was my router's IP. Now passwords again, training. If I add device, it should also be able to add. Yes, so now I have two devices added, okay? Now let's see. Let's wait for some time. Let's wait for some time to see what I have in my dashboard. I have a dashboard. I can customize my dashboard here with several customization. So let's say if I want to edit, if I want to select a wizard, let's say availability map, okay? So as you can see, I have my first widget added and it has two devices. Both of them are down at the moment. I think the polling has to be started. So you can start the polling. The polling will by default automatically start. It just needs some time to add all the devices. When you first add a device, it takes some time to get added to the system because it will start the polling and take those devices into the system. So let's wait here and maybe I'll hand over to Ms. Kine to run the quiz, but after that, I'll show you that the devices are showing up here after some time because it will take about 5 minutes for SNMP to finish the polling. So Ms. Kine, over to you if you want to.
Will you be okay if you take 5 more minutes?
Oh, okay.
Please.
Okay, yeah, fine. Okay, thank you. So yeah, so let's wait for some time and you can see that the devices will be added very soon. So you can see the down status is gone now. It becomes now warning status. The warning status means that it is still waiting for some more data. Once it is done, you will see it will become green. So we have now two devices. If you move mouse to the icons, so let's say if you have 100 devices and this availability map can show you how many devices are green, how many are red. If you come to the office in the morning, it's just a summary of whether if there is any network element is down or not. So you can add more. If you click edit, you can add more widget. Let's say if I want to add let's say logs, okay? So syslog. So you can see that the syslog, if there is logs, you will see logs are coming. So you can actually make it even bigger and you can put it here. You can make this one even like this, because logs need some like more wide screen. And so your summary table, summary dashboard can be a lot of things. So just try to add whatever you like. But let's see if we have devices now. Yes, if you go to the devices, it's less than even 5 minutes, as you can see. If previously there was no devices, now there are 2 devices, and as you can see, they are categorized. My Linux server is under server, my router is under network. How did the LibreNMS understood that? It has those operating system related information. So that's why. So let's click on the network. And you can see I have a Cisco device and the icon is already added. The version number is added. The operating systems information like the licenses, uptime, it's up for about 51 minutes. If you click on the device, you can see more information. It's host name, it's OIDs, and its graph. If we wait for another couple of minutes, you will see the traffic graph. Because SNMP will poll every 5 minutes, so that's why it's empty now. But you can see that the graph, CPU utilization, memory information, storage, if you have fan, if you have power, everything. And there are some logs as well. As you can see, the logs and events are here as well. So there are more information, right? If there are routings, you can see the routes, the neighbors. If it is BGP, you can see BGP neighbors, OSPF neighbors, and so many things. So you can, LibreNMS is a very, very extensive tool, and probably the only one tool that's okay to run in your network to monitor most of your elements. Is very, very highly customizable and open source. You don't need to pay anybody. It's not a big complex setup. It's easy setup. So now if you go to the server is itself. So the name, remember we added, and it has now everything, like it's a Linux server. It has a kernel of version mentioned there. It has its own graph as well. Again, you can see its ports information, health information, graphs, alerts, logs, and so on. I hope this, so this is the end of, and now let's go back to the dashboard and let's see. Yeah, the warnings are still there, but it doesn't mean that it's down. Warning means it is missing some information, but it's okay. It's a virtual environment. There might be some parameters that it needs to be collected. So I think that's the end of this tutorial. If you have any question, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, I know some of you may not be able to follow me when I was doing the lab, but remember, this is a free to use lab. So you can go back home and run the lab by yourself and take time to read the instructions and finish by yourself. If you have any problem, you can reach out to me in my email address that's mentioned on the our event page for today. So let's say if I want to save my lab, I don't want to continue, but I need to finish it later. So you can click on the menu icon, you can click on the save icon, and then if you save it, it's gonna be saved for 7 days. So you have to complete it in 7 days, okay? But I'm not saving it yet, but that's the end of the lab. I hope you got some idea about the LibreNMS, but there are more parts. Like if you hit next, this one is installing a spoke thing. If you go next, it's Nagios. If you go next, it's Netbox. So it's a combination of several monitoring and management tools. Please explore by yourself, okay? Over to you, Ms. Kine.
Thank you. So any question, please? You go load the lab ကမပြီးလို့ရှိရင်ကြရင်ပြန်ဆက်လုပ်လို့ရတယ်เนาะအဲ့ username password နဲ့ဝင်ပြန်ပြီး initialize ပြန်လုပ်နောက်ပြီးသူပြောတဲ့နောက်ဟာတွေပြန်ပြီးဆက်ပြီးသွားလို့ရတယ်เนาะအဲ့ဒါပြောတာမေးခွန်းရှိလားရှိပါဘူးဒါ Thank you. We will start for quiz session.
Okay, okay, please.
Thank you for your attention. Okay. အဲ့တော့quiz quiz ကို preparation လုပ်တော့ပြောမယ်